Welcome to the greatest color cream cabinets in existence. I'm here with the boys to men, you know,
The baby boys.
the baby boys, the baby boys. On one end, we have the human calculator with the numerical nomenclature, the mean green. Uh, oh, I was
I'm
gonna say
wearing
something.
green. Are you talking about red?
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay, let's start this over again.
Yeah,
Okay,
no, he said it. I looked down. I was like, I'm wearing green.
yeah.
we're gonna reverse. We're gonna reverse. Like, okay, we're back in time now. Anyways, the human calculator with the numerical nomenclature. Raytron, uno, dos, tres. He's bilingual. Yeah.
No
The
hablo
mean,
inglés.
glaze. The mean green king of queens. The man with a plan, the ultimate Nas fan. EJ. One day we're gonna have to make a meme of how many times I've messed up and say Nas flan, and we're gonna have to show like a piece of flan or something with Nas's face on it, or something like that.
I think it's only been
So
like 3 times so far.
yeah, so it just keeps to me, my mind, it keeps happening. Or no, because it'll be like I'm almost about to do it and I catch myself. You know when you can feel on the tip of your tongue you're about to say something,
Those
and then your
slips.
spirit stops it. Yeah.
It's
What are you
just
guys?
like, damn.
Mhm.
I've been good. Work going great. Looks like I'm about to go up for this promotion. So
Hey,
it's calm. It's calm. You know what
he's
I'm
not
saying?
gonna be here no more. He gonna be start looking down
Yeah.
on us.
Yeah, man. But yeah, I'm just really excited. Pretty much I've kind of already been doing what I'm going up for, so it's good to get paid for it. And then
They got you working for
you know,
free.
yeah, you know what I'm saying? I go past my responsibilities. It is what it is.
Sick.
Facts. And then just been uh chilling, man, chilling, making these green juices. I got one next to me, man. You know what I'm saying? I know you guys was looking at it funny last time, but
You guys.
thought I was
I ain't say nothing about
drinking
your
shit.
little salads that you be drinking.
You're drinking your healthy salad. I'm drinking poison. Drinking some alcohol.
Oh, that's the one you drinking? The flavor?
Yeah.
Oh my god!
Figured
You
why
took
not?
those home with you. I forgot. You took those
Yeah.
home with you.
You out here just
So
drinking?
we're gonna see.
Everyone out here drinking stuff? It's crazy.
Yeah, what you said it tasted like armpit and sweat?
It tastes like human sweat.
Why are you drinking it, bro? If you don't like it.
It tastes less bad now. I don't know why it tasted so bad that night.
Because your taste buds is acclimating.
You know what it was. You know what it was too, because we got it straight from the store, and I didn't think about it till you brought it up. Why it tastes different is because it wasn't fucking refrigerated, so it was hot.
You were drinking them hot though.
It was hot, yeah. Because we didn't like as soon as we brought it to the crib, like we didn't put it in the fridge. We just took them out. So yeah, hot beers probably one of the worst things ever.
I
Its
someone's
flavor
gonna be in the
too.
comments talking
So
about how good beers are warm beers.
Certain kind of beer.
we can invite that person on stream because that is a an irrational thought, and I would love to hear more about it.
Yeah, I'd love to hear more about it.
Now I'm good on that.
What about you, Raytron?
Oh, I mean, I had a meeting today. Just clerical stuff, paperwork, just.
Oh, that sounds boring.
Yeah, don't worry about it.
Just continue.
Nah, that's it.
No, that's cool.
Little meeting.
That's it.
That's it.
What about the cat, man?
What about the cat?
The cat ain't play a part in your day, man.
It woke me up asking for food. I fed it.
Was the meeting with the cat?
No, the meeting was not with the cat.
Oh, maybe the cat.
The cat took notes though. It was my record keeper.
You tell the cat, when I'm here every day, I want you to take care of those files on my desk.
It already knows, bro.
Yeah, that would look funny. See the cat do tax services. Back to what you were saying. Having some glasses on and then takes it off in frustration. Like, damn, man, this is a
pause right here.
You're not gonna get much this season, man. I don't know what you were doing.
Nah, you don't want taxes. Like when you don't want a tax return. That's bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who doesn't want money back?
That means because like the reason they're giving you money back is because they overtaxed you.
Or if you have a kid.
Nah, it's because you overtaxed you. Like if
They're
you're
gonna
doing it
overtax
right, you don't get any money back.
they're gonna overtax you regardless.
Thank you for telling me that because I've been working. I was working what 2 jobs this past year, fucking constantly paying taxes like a everyday normal citizen, and I still owed the government. God damn!
You
It
still owe
wasn't.
the
It wasn't.
government?
Yeah, it wasn't by a lot. It was like a $80, $100 difference. But damn, I'm paying my taxes just like everyone else. Well,
See,
not everyone
that's
else.
the
Some
part that
people
I
roll
don't
off the
understand.
books.
Like if you really do just work a regular 9 to
I
5
didn't do
jobs,
not. Yeah,
how do you end up owing money? It's like here's
Because
my
technically,
W-2, that's it.
I don't itemize, which
yeah,
plays a
because
part probably. But
taxation is theft. It's really that simple.
Yeah,
like,
Taxation
you
is
already
theft.
getting my money. Like the fuck.
it
It is
is
what it is.
weird.
The IRS are crooks, man.
Theft.
They
Yes,
crooks.
they're thieves. Not just the IRS, the entire fucking government. They're all crooks.
I was
Um,
actually thinking about that because everyone keeps saying tax the rich, and I was like, that's not going to do nothing, you know? Like,
they do.
theoretically,
They
no.
already.
What I'm talking about is like, because, like, there's a bunch of loopholes you can do, and the more money you make, the more access you have to some of those loopholes. Like, literally having a business, you get to write off a lot of things, and you get taxed
Yeah.
less, right?
Yeah.
Like, the reason Jeff Bezos and all those, like, really rich people, they don't have salaries is so that they can pay less taxes, right?
Yeah.
But what I was
Really?
saying is,
Mm.
if you tax them at the whatever rate that you wanted to tax them at, that wouldn't solve any of our problems. Because theoretically, we would get like billions of dollars in tax revenue from all of those people, but that's billions of dollars going to a system that already isn't allocating the money in the which ways we want anyway. So, like, what?
You might just get worse problems. Next thing you know, they find new ways to spy on you, new ways to control you and your family. Or he's not gonna do shit.
I'm
Not
not
gonna
even gonna
change.
go into theorizing shit. It's just like from the stuff that we actually know is like if we give the government more money, we already know what they're gonna spend it on, and it's not
Yes.
the populace. Because
It's not roads, build
it's
new
not roads,
infrastructure.
it's not education. Like we know that these services aren't gonna get better if they suddenly start taxing the rich.
I see now why Wesley Snipes did what he did, man. I see.
Taxation is theft. Been saying this for years. I'm sure some lib is watching me right now. It's like, oh my god, what a fucking idiot, man!
Like
I
no,
can't believe.
like technically, like on a technical level, taxes make sense, right? We
Yeah.
contribute to a community pot, and we use that pot to fix things in our community. But in practical sense, that's not what's happening, and that's
No.
why it sucks.
Exactly. Yeah.
You see how the MTA still be the same, man. I
The
mean, they made some
MTA
minor,
actually has been the MTA has been getting robbed by the New York City government. Honestly, it's been getting robbed.
That too.
Like, literally, they've been getting budget cuts for years. Like, every new mayor is like, fuck the MTA, cut. And then, you want to know why they get in all those fancy, those fancy stations? It's not the MTA's decision. It's the governor's decision. They're like, yo, you know what would be really cool and good for my fucking re-election? A fancy new station in somewhere in Manhattan. Like, and the people eat that shit up, and they're like, "Oh, look, the fucking governor's doing his job," and it's like, no,
It's not
fuck that
it's
station.
It's not that people eat it up. The propaganda machine gets rolling and starts presenting it as it's the coolest thing.
Yeah. Like there's other uses for the money. It would help if they would stop stealing all the money that the MTA is getting for whatever reason. Like I was watching a video on it.
What they need to do is
that train still taking 40 minutes to get there, man. Shit ridiculous.
There's a thing that they can do to fix it, but they don't have the money.
They need to start shutting some stations down, making some shuttles, and then moving on. Yeah, to move from station to station. That's what I think they should do. Less stations.
And you would think with the way New York be taxing more than any other state out there, like it's insane.
I'm telling you, you know where the money's going. It's going to their pockets, brother. Yes. Going to their pockets.
And going towards goofy shit. Like, some of your taxes goes towards so that they could film a show with people, having sex scenes and stuff, and all sorts of goofy, like the stupid shows you see all over. If they're filmed in New York, they get a portion of those of some of those taxes you pay.
Ah, ah, makes
Those
sense. Makes sense.
shows, they get some of it too. They're funded by the city.
I want to go to Miami, man. They don't got no state taxes out there, man, or the state of Florida in general.
Man,
Miami in particular.
If you think that just because they don't got those kinds of taxes, you're not getting fucked over in somewhere else.
They got the federal.
You think you're not getting fucked over in a different capacity?
That's a hell of a trade off. Because I mean, what you get in tax relief, the standard of living, the amount of opportunities, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, it's not that much worse than New York, actually. It's very similar to New York. I remember a guy was even talking about that. He was like, they kind of, the only thing is you have to have a car, but he was like, it's virtually like New York, just warm. He was saying Miami and New York are much more similar than people think.
Similar in what way though?
Like things are pretty expensive. Like they're getting more expensive. All the places where people live, like people work in the city, just like in New York.
Because
even if they live outside the city, they'll still have to drive into the city and go to their jobs.
The money you paying in New York to get a house, to get like a trap house, you know what I'm saying? You get a nice ass crib in Florida with 10 times better. So it depends on how you break it down. There's some similarities and then some clear differences.
Yeah,
but
definitely. That's what I'm trying to say. But on that note, speaking of the standards of success, today's topic was that we should. I was thinking about this a little while ago. I was watching something. I was thinking about how chasing success seems to be really pointless, right? And it's like people spend all this time trying to figure out how to get rich or how to have as much money as possible, how to have certain things, I guess, that prove to them that they finally made it. And then I was just thinking in my head, I was like, does that all matter at the end of the day? Like we said, when you die, it's not like you're in Egyptian mythology and those things are gonna come with you. No, you're just gonna die, right? And your body's gonna be gone. And
Maybe.
If it was things that was like worthy, like it was worth a lot, your family's gonna fight over it. I've literally seen it happen with my eyes. That your corpse is not even gonna be fucking chill yet. There's still gonna be warmth in your corpse, and they're gonna be fighting over your stuff already. So it's like, so I just got me thinking. I was like, does it really matter how much money you have, or is it more just about trying to be comfortable in the life you're living now, like having enough to be comfortable and trying to free yourself? Because like people say, escape from the matrix, and the solution is work yourself like a dog. I guess start a business, and then that's how you free yourself from the matrix. And I was like, why would freeing yourself from a system in which you're being overworked be to work yourself even more? I was like, I don't understand. Wouldn't it make more sense to work less? But I mean, that's the thing. They pretend that you're now going to be working less if you start a business, which simply isn't true. You're going to be working more for a lot of that business until you break even, and even then, you're still going to be working a lot. It's going to take a long time for you to finally be able to sit back and rest on your laurels. What do you guys think?
There's a lot to take in. And honestly, I think a lot of the problem is for the first part where you're talking about like your family structure fighting over your remains, basically, your leftovers. I feel like that's a cultural thing that we need to like address. But to stick on the topic of the success, I feel that how do I phrase this? I feel like as a society, we are trying way too hard to just consume and have the more money. And you're not like you like it's not even like, oh, I want this money to do something. It's just like, I want money. I want to have $1,000. I want to have $100,000. I want to have $1,000,000. And it's like there's no goal in spending it. It's just like I want to have it. So just in case, just in case XYZ, just in case AB, it's just so weird because a lot of people can comfortably survive on their what is it, like 60K salary. They can have a nice car, a nice, I don't mean like a super luxury, a fucking Bugatti or nothing, but like you can have a car, you can have a house, you can like have your kids, and you be living a fine life. But because of the rise of like social media, you get to see how the other side lives, right? And now it's like, oh man, me in my house with my comfortable like life, it's nothing compared to the people in the mech mansions and the Bugattis and the yachts and all that shit. Those guys are really living life. I'm just a peasant. It's like, relax yourself, bro.
Then you
Relax.
have the guys who are like, every morning I get up at 3:30 a.m. and I get my day started. I get on the treadmill. I run for at least 2 hours. Then I sit down and I get some paperwork done. Then I like those people who make those fucking videos.
Yeah.
And you
It's
see
like,
that?
all right, you've basically done work from 9 a.m. till 9 a.m. tomorrow. So when do you get to enjoy all that money you made, bro? When you get to do anything that you want to
I
do?
guess at the I guess at the end of the year, they go on a vacation, and they're still thinking about work the entire time they're on that vacation. I've heard people talk about this. They go on vacations. They're like, when you're in that zone, they can't even stop, and they had to learn. You hear a lot of successful people talking about this. They had to
That's gonna be
learn.
me. That's gonna be me.
You
You
wanna
just
you wanna
can't.
be on vacation talking about work?
You're gonna see me on my phone, still taking calls.
Ay, ay,
Like
ay.
Why
yeah,
you on
Jameson.
Why
You
you on
able to close that
vacation?
deal?
Why you on
The stereo,
vacation?
the stereotypical representation of the '90s yuppie. That was those Patrick Bateman characters in every movie. In those kind of movies, they'll be on an island with the phone with the wire sticking out the top and a
Yeah,
thing. It's like, hey, tell him to fuck off, or
yeah.
tell him to eat shit.
Yeah.
You know.
But it's like, why are you on vacation? Like, what joy? It's like now
Wait,
you get
so
to do your
EJ,
business meeting in the sun. That's it. That's it.
are
That's the
you
cool part.
saying are you saying are you saying EJ that you kind of disagree with me and Ray's take on this? That
Nah, I don't disagree. I'm being funny, but
uh, curious.
Nah,
yeah, nah,
he's
of
that's what
course
he
not.
wants.
It's not.
He wants to be in
Me
Miami, sitting
personally,
back on the phone, being like, "Sell, buy, sell, no, buy, fuck."
It's like, damn, I lost everything. Fuck.
hey man, you gotta close that deal. You gotta close that deal, man. You know what I'm saying?
Oh man. But yeah, what were you gonna say, EJ?
Nah, I mean, like you gotta have time to enjoy what you have, um, with the money that you've accumulated, the people that you shared it with, your family. Because like you said, there's really no point to keep doing it, um, if you're not even really enjoying it, you're not making time to enjoy it. But you also got the reason why this is like a multi-layered conversation is because you got the people that like overwork themselves, but it's not necessarily because of the material or the outcome. Like it's not money, it's not the tangible items, it's just more of like that is just the way they operate. um they always are trying to hit a new level. For them, that's just like there's always new milestones, there's always new goals. Like they just are relentless in that.
Yeah,
And they're never satisfied. Not because of it being money, but it's just like, damn, I made it to this. Like how far can I go even past this? So, you got people that like to take on those challenges. Like
yeah,
an example of that is LeBron James, for instance, right? He's still in the NBA. He's made all the money that he's possibly than anyone could ever, hope to make in his lifetime. But why? He's still driven, right? Like he's still passionate about his career. He's still passionate about breaking records and um, you know, setting a new standard or a new bar. So, you got those things that are important to you. And that translates to other people that even later on in their life when they should probably be on the beach having a good time, but they're still going hard working, doing things that they probably don't need to do anymore. So
yeah,
it's just in them. It's like a DNA thing where they that's all they've ever known how to do is like keep on working, keep on working. But then you also got those people that do it for the sole purpose of I want to get the chain, I want to get the fancy car, and then when they get
bitching.
those things, it's still not enough, and they're looking at a new item because something else becomes like this status symbol to acquire. And but that's where a lot of their motivation lies in.
Yeah,
Um, and then you got the people that only work to get to that comfortability stage, like you were saying, where they just want to get a certain amount, kick back, enjoy what they have, even though it might not be the most that they can get. It's something that they can still enjoy. Um, so it really depends on you as a person. I definitely think out of the types of people I mentioned, the materialistic one is definitely the worst because like you said, it runs out. Um, you realize that those things don't even really have that much meaning to them. You're really
Mhm.
putting more meaning into it than it needs. And then as far as what you were saying, when you die, you can't take the shit with you. I remember Denzel Washington had that quote about you never see a U-Haul riding behind a hearse, you know? Um, so it's pretty much pointless. Probably gonna have family fighting over it, like you said, over the remains. And then um, if you can't take it with you and you're not sharing it with someone or you're not enjoying it yourself, then you're just wasting a lot of good time that you could have had uh and put that time to better use or towards something else.
Yeah, definitely. Um, yeah, I definitely feel that there are people, like you said, who just, they're just that kind of person. They like working hard. They just want to. They need something to do. I met a lot of people like that. But I mean, a lot of it also, as I think it's like they'll be born from necessity, and some of it's born from like brainwashing. So for some people, it's like they came here as an immigrant or something. They have no choice but to work extra hard. Not gonna say anything about those people. They gotta do what they gotta do, right? If you came here and you have like 3 children, and you don't got shit to your name, do what you gotta do, man. But then I feel like a lot of people, what happened is they're sold a dream, the American dream. Carlin has talked a lot about this. The ever present American dream, right? They're sold this idea, and then they spend the rest of their lives trying to chase that idea. And then, like after all that chasing, they start to realize that maybe it was never real to begin with. Maybe there wasn't this American dream, or at least it didn't exist in the way it was presented to me. It's like maybe the American dream was actually just connecting to my fellow man and building a sense of community. I feel like we forgot that I feel like that was originally what the American dream was and like how it was conceptualized. Like sure it's part of like having a family, having the house and the fence. But I think the idea of it, sure it's like mired in capitalism and sort of like what's the word we were saying, materialism, right? But I think that's kind of missing the point. That's like very reductive of it. I think the idea was you now get to live in this community with your fellow people, and you're part of this like community that works together. I think that was what the idea was. But what ended up happening is consumerism took over, and then the community part, it gets left behind. And now everybody just they want to be the most successful one, and it's like a crab in a bucket kind of mentality where they're all fighting each other to get to the top. That's one of the things I can say there. That's one of the elements I can see in American culture that is a little bad. But I mean, when people criticize American culture for these reasons, I mean, there are other cultures that are way worse, like Japanese and Chinese culture. To be honest, they're very cutthroat in the way they work.
Mm-hmm.
Unless you speaking to villagers, then it's a little different, right?
Mm-hmm.
But these are the people that get looked at down on. These
Yes.
very like simple-minded people, they get looked down on as if they're just some idiot hick. And it's like, nah, you should be like me, spending every waking moment thinking about um how I'm gonna combat this person tomorrow, or how am I gonna get this position. That's how you live. These meaningless positions that don't mean anything. You should structure your entire life around that. Also, I'm an atheist. Yeah. Yeah. I have no God. And then
Honestly,
you look at
I don't know how many people. Let me look it up.
it's crazy because like people will say they don't worship anything or they're agnostic, and you look at the way they live within these corporate structures, and it's dead ass like they go to church. They might as well have a religion. Like their religion is hustle. You know what I mean? Like they have a hustle culture religion. Um, yeah, I mean, I'm not knocking anybody for like doing what you got to do, but I feel like we spend so much of our time slaving away and giving our energy to these corporations and these companies that ain't gonna give you shit back in return. They don't give a rat's ass about you. The moment you fuck up or step out of line, your ass is out of there, and they replace you with the next idiot who's seeking the. Or you know what? I'm sorry. Don't want to call people idiots. They replace you with the next person who's seeking the American dream, right? And it's crazy to me because I'm like, it's different, I think, when you're trying to forge your own business or trying to form something born of your own passions. Like, if you're slaving away doing that and it's something you actually feel passionate and care about, something that you're trying to leave behind for your family or something like that, then I'm like, okay, that's a little different. But I feel like when you're just doing it just for this like status, like just to have this thing, like I finally made it, that kind of stuff I think is very silly. Yeah.
Yeah, and I was gonna say another thing I wanted to add is I don't like when the people that chase success for those kind of reasons, like the status symbol or the tangible materialistic items, um, because whenever you try to like I'm not I guess I was trying to think of one person, but I mean you kind of hear people say like if you ever talk to those types of people before where like the way to live is to, appreciate what you have or how even if you mention to them like, there's people that have less that's still happy, right? Like why can't you do that? Like why can't your outlook be different towards the things you have and they'll be like, "Oh, I'm not satisfied because I don't have this, I don't have that." And then they'll be quick to call you small-minded for the way you think or you're settling or you're lowering your standards for what you could have that's more, but it's like the things that I find important, you find is lesser. You know what I'm saying? Things that you put meaning into, you think is actually more important than, let's say togetherness or family and those core values. And to them it's just like it's
Mhm.
something that should already be there and they don't really place too much importance to that. They kind of take it for granted. It's like, well, yeah, I could have that and I could have more. But when you have more, you're not even really regarding the family aspect or the togetherness aspect. You kind of just like shove it aside almost. It's like, yeah, I have it, but
Yeah.
it's not that important. So I think people don't place enough of an emphasis on that. And when you try to mention like how important that is or how meaningful that is, they're like think you're selling yourself short or you're being small minded about it, which I don't like.
And it's also like, when you start to achieve, let's say you've achieved I mean, heck, Rafi is a perfect example of this. If you achieve a life in which you feel like you're living well and you make connections with people around you and you just generally enjoy your life, a lot of that other a lot of that other stuff just seems less important. Like having a whole shitload of money just doesn't seem as important to you because you feel like you have what's in front of you, like what's important. Like if you have enough money to survive and maybe enough money to fall back on if something happens to you, and then you have the people around you who you enjoy having around you, you have interesting conversations, you have a good life, you take care of yourself, you eat well or that kind of thing. You just look and you're just like, why would I like go strain myself for more when I have everything I need here? Like it's like a lot of people are like, oh, as a human, hold on, let me mute myself. I'm about to start.
Mm-mm-mm. This man.
Had a piece of mucus just really stuck in there. Let's get
Mm-mm-mm.
rid
And
of
you gonna
it.
tell me exactly what it was. Oh my god.
Anyways, a lot of people are like, oh, as a human, you're supposed to be you're supposed to be shattering these boundaries and building up yourself and finding new accomplishments or whatever. And it's like, yeah, but what if your accomplishments? What if to you a good way or what you're trying to get better at is connecting with your fellow man, trying to be a good person. What if to you that's one of the most important things and you spend the rest of your life trying to do that? You know? Like
People are
heck,
just
you
gonna
could
take advantage of you.
true. But what I'm saying is let's say like for example, when I was talking about the community service stuff, like imagine if like, people probably look down on you if like all you did with your life is like, okay, you have your normal job. Let's take it way down. Let's say this nigga is living like a monk, right? Let's say this man lives in a small little crowd. Even worse, let's say he has roommates and he's old as hell, right? He has roommates, you know, and he works like some job that most people would consider like lesser, right? Let's say he works in like a stock room or something, does something simple like that. And he spends the rest of his life just doing community service shit. Like all he does is community service stuff. That's what he enjoys. and maybe he even sits there, because a lot of these, you'll be surprised. You'll be watching people set up these community service things, and you thinking this man must be rich. Oh, he must be rich and stuff. No, he's literally just a fundraiser. It'll be like, it's like he's just a guy who has a normal life and then goes out and raises funds when he has to. And these people will be doing it in the most grassroots way as well. They'll be walking up in people's face trying to ask them if they could donate, like that kind of stuff. And like, what if that's what gives him meaning? But no, you wouldn't be able to tell. So like, if he goes on a date with a woman and she's asking him about his life, he's like, oh yeah, I have roommates and I work in a storage room. She's gonna be like, oh, this guy's a bomb. He don't got shit. He ain't got shit. That's gonna be her first thought, right? Because that's how we felt. Yeah, that's how we value people. We value people based on what status they've reached and what things they have that represent them. It's like if he has a nice car and he has a nice apartment and he has this job that everyone else is also seeking and he lives in this area. Ooh, wow, he's a catch. He's a catch. They won't know anything about the guy's personality yet, but he's a catch because he has the checklist of things that a lot of other people want.
Give me a second.
Yeah, it's like when someone is actually rich in terms of or technically rich in terms of like how much they have in their account, as opposed to what you're talking about being rich in spirit, being rich in mind, body, and soul, um, whose lives are able to touch and affect, living living with meaning, living with a purpose that is, beyond yourself, being able to impact other individuals. Like those things you can't account for. You can't put a number in that. It doesn't necessarily translate into a net worth. It doesn't translate into being rich financially. It's something that is overlooked, like I said, by some people, because everybody thinks like everybody can do that, you know what I'm saying? But not everybody taps into that ability. Not everybody actually does that. A lot of people just live for themselves. They don't care about who they impact. Um, but they assume that, like, well, yeah, I have a family, like, we'll be rich, we'll do this and that, but they never look inwardly and think, damn, like I'm not really connecting with other people as I should. I'm not really, like, they get so caught up in what they're doing. And it's like you see poor people, even like some poor people that made it from like, rags to riches, and they talk about their early days. They'll be like, me and my mom, or me and my brothers, we ain't have much, but we had each other, and they meant the world. That was all they had, but they were able to get through, and they didn't even really think that they were in that bad of a situation because of being able to connect with each other. It felt like they could surmount anything, because they had each other
You
in
just
a way.
reminded me of
Sounds like a
something.
Disney film, but
Yeah.
Now you reminded me of something, because I remember
yeah,
I had to like write one of those like scholarship essays, and basically, it was like show the rich man how poor and sad you are, so they give you money to go to college, right? I couldn't do it. I literally was like, I can't write anything, because I was like, my mom was worked way too hard for me to sit here and pretend that I'm struggling, like I just couldn't do it. I was like, I couldn't think of any like genuinely suffering moments, because like my mom worked hard enough that I just could not fathom actually struggling.
Mm. Yeah, and it's. Oh, what were you gonna say, EJ?
no, yeah, I was gonna say, so it's a perspective and an outlook thing, like I was saying earlier, because if a poor person could still find something to be happy about, or to uplift them in a time of strife and pain, it's like, so can the person that's very successful, but they don't think about the spirit aspect of it, or like how you are as a person. They all, people look from the outside looking in, or just instantly think of how much money you made in your life, what your future's looking like financially, and all that other stuff, because that's something that they can, that's a number. That's something that they could easily see it adding into their life, into their personal life. But the smaller, finer details of like how you are as a person, the way you affect people, things of that nature, they don't think of that. That's not like an initial thought for some people.
Yeah, and it's like another thing. It's like some people can be wealthy and they're wealthy in spirit, and they're actually wealthy, and you wouldn't know because they live a certain way. Like, even not trying to say I'm wealthy, I'm nowhere near wealthy, right? But I don't have as much money as I did at this point. But at that point in time, I had a good amount of money just sitting there. I spent a lot of it, and I'm now rebuilding things. But
Hell
I'm
of a
happy I
night.
spent. Yeah, what was that?
Hell of a night.
Oh, geez, how was that? I'm happy I spent it because a lot of times I did spend the money because I remember I was angry a little while ago, thinking in my head about how like I drained this account. But then I was like, wait a minute. The way you drained it though was like you did actually use it majority for important things. It was like every time you used it, it was usually to do something important. It wasn't like you were just like there were a few times, of course, where I was using it for the hell of a nights, like we said. But the mass majority of the times, like I'm willing to say 9 times out of 10, it was like, oh, to pay this thing, to pay that thing, to fix this thing, to fix that. And I was like, that's literally what you're supposed to use money for. I was like, money is supposed to be used. It's not supposed to just sit there. I was like, it's supposed to have purpose. You're supposed to do things with it. And I was like, okay. So then, but basically, years ago, well, not even years ago, this was a little while ago, when I would have this money, because I would have money, I had to have money in my stocks, and I also had like money in like different savings accounts, right? And like no one would fucking know because it's like I would show up dressed like I'd dress whatever I had on, whatever what I did, what I had to do. I didn't spend money all the time. I didn't go out and just do random shit. If I ever did spend money, it was with you guys. I'd go hang out with you guys and we'd spend money. And even then, we didn't spend that much. Like, because like I think about it, like there were a few times where like, let's say I'm hanging out with Ref. I remember one time Ref, I was buying his drinks for the night and also buying my own drinks. I ended up spending like 200 and something dollars that night. I think
Big
it was like,
baller.
yeah. I was mad. I was mad the next day. Not mad because of the ref part. I was like, oh, whatever. I was mad that I was like, damn, I should have not drank anything then, or I should have like spent less money. But the thing is, right? Uh, other people be spending way more than that. I started to learn. Like this girl I know, it was gonna be her birthday. She talking about how she want to go to a lounge. Like, yeah, it's $80 per person. I was like, $80 per. She's like, oh,
Just
but
to go
everything comes.
inside?
Yeah, she's like, everything comes with it though, blah blah. And I was like, yeah, but we know. Okay, so it's like they're like, oh, they're gonna bring like a drink. They're gonna bring one drink for the whole table, right? I'm with a bunch of these chicks. I'm gonna drink that stuff. It's not gonna do anything to me. I'm gonna need something else. I'm definitely gonna end up spending more than the $80. You know what I mean? Like
Everything
I'm not just
come.
gonna
What's
sit there.
everything come with it, bro?
I don't. It's gonna be some bullshit because
It's
we
like you
went to
got a
the.
table. It's like you got a table.
It's gonna be like maybe like one or two drinks. I'm guaranteed.
Oh my god, bro!
Was
It's gonna
it
be
was
like
it was it was they celebrating something? Was it a birthday?
It was a
Or
birthday.
was
She
it a
said.
yeah, it was
special
like a
occasion?
it was a
All right.
birthday.
That makes sense. That makes sense. You're gonna
Sure.
overspend on your birthday.
I personally just didn't want to drop $80 like
If it
that.
was a regular night and she don't got it like that, nah, that's different. But her birthday, she want to turn up, she want to go crazy. She entitled to that.
Yeah, but I feel like it was boring. Like to go sit in a lounge just to spend money and sit down. That's just boring to
It,
me.
it ain't it ain't your birthday.
I know, but that's why I don't have to
That's why
go.
he
All
ain't
right.
go.
Yeah, you don't gotta go. You don't
He's
gotta
like,
go.
I'm wishing you well. Catch you next time.
Yeah, I was like, fuck that. Go sit down at a table, just doing nothing. I was like, I was trying to tell him, I was like, I find those places boring. I was like, when I go to these places, usually I'm trying to meet new people and talk to people. There'll be some moments where I just want to be chill, but usually I'm out because I want to meet people. That's what I want to do.
You
Yeah,
gotta start going away from the clubs and start going to like seminars and shit. You talking about meeting
I was
people.
thinking about that actually. I was thinking about,
Because
I'm thinking
you keep talking about like when you was telling Ref or no, I mean you said this to all of us, like the type of women you meet in the club are not wifey material or
oh, but
prime candidates. There a lot of them are low hanging fruit. But not even making it a woman thing. But I'm just saying even in a social context where you're just trying to get to know the person, try to do anything with them. But trying to meet somebody at a certain frequency, you're not gonna get there. You're
but
not gonna
remember,
get there when you're not even operating at full capacity. You know what I'm saying?
I'm also not trying to find wifey. So There's also that.
No, but that's why I said it's not really for you. It's more of like a social kind of interaction. So you want to have like intelligent or thought provoking conversations. It's not gonna be there. You know what I'm saying? Go to like some intellectual type of meeting, like a seminar or an info session.
Yeah.
You know,
I want to do that over the summer. I want to go to a few seminars and just meet some people, talk to them, just for curiosity, just to see what it's like.
Try a book club. You love reading. I don't know why you haven't done a book club yet.
Book clubs?
Yeah.
That sounds like it's right up your alley.
Yeah,
Book club's
yeah. I mean, I've seen someone like meet up. I don't know why I've never done it, like you said. I think it's because okay, this is where I'm gonna sound like a sexist, right? I remember when I was in college and I'd be part of groups that were about writing and book clubs. It'd be mostly women, and like it would just be a bunch of silly conversations, in my opinion, like things that just like it was so silly, like the things we talk about, and it's like I had nothing in common with them, man. Like they would be like, okay, let's write a story. They write their stories. It's always some fantasy shit, some like deep fantasy thing.
What's
and
wrong with
like
fantasy?
I don't know.
Nah,
Man. I always like
I prefer not fantasy myself, actually.
yeah, everything was always some Harry Potter shit. And then I would write my story. It'd either be something where I'm trying to make a point, or
Funny
it's
enough,
like
I don't really like sci-fi that much either.
yeah. Well, and that's the thing. I wouldn't even write sci-fi. I think it was only one time I wrote a sci-fi story in that group. One story I wrote was like a thing saying something about society. Another time I wrote a story, it was me. It was a guy who went into this like I think it was like this house that was like a nexus of realities, right? It was sci-fi, but not really sci-fi because the science part didn't matter. It was just the point was that he would meet a bunch of different kinds of people in this house. And they didn't realize this, but I was making fun of certain genres in this house. So I made fun of the type of stories they'd be writing by having him meet these stock characters who are the kind of characters they make. Like I was making fun of them, but I didn't say it. I didn't say I was making fun of them.
He
I
does
just
this a
read the
lot.
story. Yeah, how was that?
I said you do
Yeah.
this a lot.
He does this a lot. Because I was just like, I would just notice their stories where they would go around the circle, and each story that the person wrote sounded like the last story. And I remember one of the stories I wrote that that I think it sort of made them uncomfortable. But the story was just me, I don't know, me playing around with genres again. The premise of the story was basically this guy lives in this like perfect town. It's like imagine like those like cartoon towns, like Lazy Town or something. It was like this town where people are like dancing and singing all the time and everyone's happy. And there's like a bad guy, a very Robbie Rotten kind of guy who has inventions like hot milk balloons.
The
And
fuck
I
does
think
that even mean?
he had a that was the point. It was supposed to be like this very whimsical, kind of foolish, silly world, right? And he had a Gatling gun that he would shoot various harmless things out of, like gum and stupid things like that, right? And what happens is the main character finds the town after looking for it for a long time. And you don't know anything about the guy until he starts talking to the villain. He's like, "Oh, my father came here a long time ago, and he met you, and he told me about this place in his journal, and that's why I came here when he died." Then it turns out the main character is like a real shithead, like he's a real bad guy, and he helps the guy change his inventions to make them actually lethal, to make them actually harmful. So then now the villain comes out with his now actually harmful machinery, and he's clearly like he's uncomfortable with this, but the new guy is pretty much taking over his operations, right? And he's too scared to say anything against him, right? And that the story ends with many people dying. Like there's supposed to be like it was like I think the story literally ended with the blood of children. That's literally something I wrote. Like the blood of children fill the sewers, and
Yo,
the
bro,
sky turns black.
You ever seen a therapist before? I just curious.
So now you know why I haven't been to book clubs, because me and those
You can usually find them at like local clinics. Some of them, some of them have a couch in the room where you can lay down on. Yeah, it's very beneficial.
Oh man, but I mean, that group was okay. But it would be so funny after I shared ideas with them or read a story, and it was like, oh, all right, okay, and you can see they writing
They were
shit
definitely
about,
looking at you like, why is he still coming here, bro?
yeah. Oh, they did like having me around. I think it's because I was also different, and I was the only boy there. All the others were girls. There were no other dudes there. I think there was a dude there once, and then he never came back. So it was just me, and I was just like, damn. It's just like it started to get boring. I think I did eventually stop going because I don't know, I had better things to do. But what was I saying? Oh, so like yeah, I would have money, but no one knew. Like I'd have money, no one knew until they discovered it. I forgot what I said that made me. I think it was someone said something about how they couldn't afford something. It was like something important, and I was like,
Was
"Why
it the
can't you
phone
afford
bill?
that?" It might have been the phone bill thing. It might have been the phone bill thing. The phone bill thing blew my mind because the thing is, it's not even like paying your phone bill in general. Like, sure, I can understand if you're paying a phone bill, it's like $100, blah blah blah, whatever. That can stack up. It can be hard, right? But this guy was very strange to me because so he's paying his phone bill. He has this job, which is paying us a decent amount of money. That was the first thing. His rent was reduced. Like he had reduced rent. So I was like, okay, he has reduced rent. He's paying his phone bill. I remember he would brag about how he didn't have any streaming services. Like, you don't be watching TV. Like, something he said. I was like, yeah, that's something I do too. I don't watch television. And then, like, and then to top it off, his phone bill was really, he kept trying to get me to change to his phone bill. I think my phone bill back then was like, what was it like?
Like
Well,
40
I think I had,
bucks?
yeah, it was like 30, maybe 40. I don't remember. If I had Boost, it was like 50, but I might have switched by this point. So I think I was paying less. But he was like, he's paying less than me, or at least he thought he was, until I told him how much I was paying, and we were pretty much paying the same amount. So like he was paying really low for the phone bill. So when he told me his phone was off, I was like, "What happened?" He was like, "Oh yeah, um, I didn't have the money to pay the phone bill." I didn't say anything in the moment. I didn't say anything because I didn't want to. But then I remember racking my brain trying to figure it out. I was like, "Why can't he pay it?" I was like, okay. I remember I talked to you guys about it. I'm trying to do the math in my head. I was like, okay, maybe it's the rent. So I remember in my head, I'm doing the math of how much money he probably pays. It's like, oh, the light bill is probably this much. It's like the rent is this much. I was like, this would be this much. He doesn't have a car. He has reduced Metro card, so he can't even say like the MTA is taking a portion of it. Like, what'd you say?
No,
What
say
about
anything.
what about? No, I was talking, but I was muted.
Oh,
Um, why? What about food? Did you calculate food?
Yeah, I calculate how much food would
Okay,
probably be. I was like,
food
people
is
probably spend
expensive.
I was like, people probably spend back then before inflation. You could probably get away with spending 100 and something a month, maybe 200 a month on food, right? You don't need to spend 200, but people are probably spending roughly about 200 or at least almost 200 a month on food. But then I was like, it all added up, and I was like, no, it still doesn't make sense as to why. Because I remember I calculated how much he would have for the month, and then I calculated, and I was like, he would still have enough to pay the
He
phone bill.
he had child support.
Maybe he did. Maybe he did.
That child support. That
Maybe he
should be
did.
big.
Because there was one time he showed a picture of a kid. I was like, "Oh, this is my kid, right?" And then everyone was like, "Oh, wow." He's like, "Nah, I'm just playing. That's not my kid." And I was like, "Oh, that's my cousin." Maybe that was actually his kid. Maybe that was actually his kid, and he just didn't want to admit it.
Man, bro, not even embracing his own kid.
Maybe. But anyways,
We're
yeah,
having a
no,
different conversation on that.
people do anything for the putty, right?
yeah. So that's the thing, I would have money, but no one knew. And then when I revealed it, they kept trying to get me to. They're like, "Oh, he got money. He got money." Like whatever. And I was like, "No, I have money, but I'm not going to spend it." I was like, I'm using it, and it did. Keeping it there did pull my ass out of the fire. But my point is, like, no one would know. Like, you might meet somebody, and they don't have the stereotypical indicators that they have a shit ton of money. Like, Coach Greg talks about this a lot. They don't have the stereotypical indicators that they have a lot of money, but they do. And they just don't do anything with it, and they just leave it alone. It doesn't matter to you as much. Like, you can have a shitload of money, because especially back then, I was like at my most zen. Like, I was a very zen and like peaceful person back then. Everything felt like it was going in the direction I wanted it to, right? And what I noticed is the the necessity to buy or spend money, just it did not matter to me anymore. Like, I had less reasons to spend money. Like, I didn't find joy in going out to random places and spending money there. I didn't want to just go pay for things. I didn't I think I did pay for a streaming service. I think it was HBO Max back then. So that was it. And to me, that HBO Max was all
Totally
I
worth
needed.
it. Totally worth it. The Wire, Sopranos,
Yeah, yeah,
Entourage, man, etc.
exactly.
Game of Thrones, even though I ain't never seen it, I'm gonna get to it.
Exactly.
Woo!
Exactly. The HBO Max was all I needed. I was like, oh, this provides me with just enough entertainment. I was like, I don't need the other ones. This has all the shows and movies that I actually care about because I like Warner Brothers a lot. So I was like, I just found that like the more at peace you were, the less I needed to spend money. So I was like, you kind of have the money sitting there because you don't need it. Because like you start to realize, okay, I want to have a nice relaxing day, right? Your average woman is gonna go book a fucking $300 spa trip or something, and that's how she has her relaxing day, right? And I just started to realize you can just go in the fucking park and relax. I would do that all the time. I'll just go walk through the park or go sit down and just sit down in the park and you're just sitting there breathing and relaxing, not doing anything, just chilling. And that shit will remove all the burdens and everything you've been feeling for the week. Just sitting there in a fucking park. It would feel like you just went to therapy. You'd leave the park feeling completely uplifted and different. So I don't know, man.
I know.
Like
I know the exact answer.
yeah, what's the exact answer? You are the human calculator. So
It's 42. Anyway, no, I agree. Like when you come into a little bit of money and you like really feel like at peace, you don't really have a desire to spend it on crazy shit. I remember like probably most of my obscene purchases were probably back when I like had the least amount of money, right? And then like once like I got into a stable period, I was just like, nah, I'm good. Like at worst, I'd buy food and go to a restaurant. That's at worst.
yeah, yeah, that's what I can say. I'd spend money on food sometimes, and that would be like me, like my cheat days, like me spoiling myself. And even
Yeah,
then, it was gonna be crazy. I would just went and go buy a plate of
That's
food.
not even that bad of a purchase considering we all have to eat
yeah,
to
I'm gonna eat that
survive.
shit.
They're
Cause like this is one of my meals. I'm just gonna
you
make it an
got
extra good
yeah,
one.
yeah, you need to eat to live. So
Yeah, yeah, I can't even like the young Ripple thing. I bought that. I had the money to do it. I could have went more overboard and didn't go more overboard. I still regret that kind of wondering if I should have just done it. Should have just bought the stuff I wanted to buy. But that was more like me showing support to someone that, and I felt like I was supporting a movement, like stuff like that. Like that's the kind of things I would do. Like if I did spend money, it would be with other people. Like I remember one time this woman probably thought she tricked me into doing this. This woman made me spend it was like 200 and something dollars on these like skincare products that I didn't even really care about. But I did it because she was hounding me so much. I did it because in my mind it dawned on me that she needed this. So I just spent it. I was like, okay, whatever. I have the money. I'll help this woman out. I was just like, she was like, oh, you got to bring your friends. I was like, you're never gonna see me again. I didn't say that, but I was like, I helped you with a sale. Like when she was fiending that hard, it made me realize she must have not made a sale the entire day. I was like, maybe I was dead thinking about it this way as I did it. I was like, maybe if I give her this one sale, it'll give her the momentum she needs to get the next sale. You
and then you caught that rash the next day and was like, damn, why bail her out? That's crazy.
Gee, the products are actually decent. They're actually pretty good. I probably would buy them again to be honest. They're a little too expensive, but they were not bad. They weren't bad. Yeah, I remember I told my sister. What made me realize that it must have been a lot of money. When I told my sister, because my sister be spending a lot of money on skincare stuff. I told her how much I spent on this thing, and then she was just like, "Oh, that's too much. That's way too much." I was like, "Oh, damn, she's saying that's way too much."
He was
when
doing charity for her, bro. He was
when
doing
a bougie
charity.
person tell you spending too much, you're like, God damn, I got fleeced.
Yeah, I felt like a fucking idiot for a second. But I was like,
It was
It is
me. I am Bozo the Clown.
yeah, but it was my birthday week. That's another reason why I chalked it up. I was spending a lot of money that week because it was my birthday, and I was like, I went and bought some new clothes and stuff. I think, yeah, that's all I did. I think I bought some new clothes. I hung out with you guys, so I spent money with you guys as well. And then I bought those skincare products. So that was like my treats for like the entire year. Because up until that point, I hadn't spent shit. I was really not spending nothing. My mom used to make fun of me, and you raised to make fun of me too for how persistent I was in not wanting to spend money.
Nah,
Whereas,
you don't understand, EJ. Mans would come home I'd be like, yo, you trying to get some food? He'd be like, nah, I can't. I was like it was on payday too. He's like, nah, I can't. I put all my money in my savings. It's like, you don't gotta put all of it. Like, not every single dollar, bro. Like, you gotta live, bro.
My mom used to make fun of me too. She's like, Giovanni, you have some money for this? I'm like, nah, mom, I don't have anything. She's like, Giovanni, you have money, you have money. And I was like, no, I
I
don't.
mean, people do advise that, for you to have that kind of same mentality when you come into a lot of money, like to act as if you broke when you got it. But he was taking it to
Nah,
another
man.
level and not
He
having
was
that. He was taking it
extreme,
to another.
bro. He was
Yeah,
extreme.
Yeah.
I was in my super spiritual shit back then. So when I'm talking monk mode, I was trying to live as if I was a monk. So I was practically living as if I had nothing. That was like I was really thinking in my head to think as if I had nothing and to to live life as if I didn't have shit. And I would go about carrying on like that, acting like I was homeless, and like that's
And then
what I
you
was.
check, and then you check your phone by the end of the night, like, I'm good, I'm good, I'm good.
Yeah, that would
Yeah.
feel good sometimes looking in my accounts. And like in moments where I absolutely had no fucking choice. Of course you're happy that you actually did have the money. You're like, okay, well, I guess we have to transfer some shit over. Like when I quit that other job, all that money that was sitting there came in real handy. But
Yeah,
it was
we ain't gonna be on monk mode no more. We gonna dip into this jar.
yeah, that's what happened. I was sitting there using that
Monk
money
mode
for
was fun, but we gonna dip into this jar now.
Well, now I'm happy that, like I said, because I think part of freeing yourself from the matrix or freeing yourself from the idea of like success as status symbol and the idea of success in general. I'm gonna elaborate more on that later. Is I feel like you kind of have to stop looking at money as this like thing you have to hold on to and to hoard. Like hoarding it is not what you're supposed to do. Like even if you want to make money, you have to spend money to make money. Like this is true. Money is like a spiritual thing. It must move. It's not supposed to. It's not meant to just sit in one place. It's rarely gonna grow if you don't do anything with it. Like you use money by buying assets, by using it to enhance your life. You're supposed to use your money.
Yeah,
You're
that's what I
supposed
do.
to use it. Yeah,
I buy
yeah.
upgrades.
Like sure, you put some away, a little emergency fund, you keep yourself safe, you save a good portion of it. Um, you make sure that you're using more of it in terms of like, let's say building assets and like enhancing the actual quality of your life, like the necessary qualities of your life. But at the same time, it should also be enhancing your life in general, Like you're not supposed to be just sitting there holding on to thousands of dollars for no reason. Like that's just silly. It's like, what do you? Sure, it can help you on a rainy day, but you didn't need that much
Yes, you do.
to
No,
help
no,
you.
he lying.
Unless
You
you
need, you
unless
need
you plan on
all
making
that, bro. You
a
need
long term
all of
purchase.
it.
Yeah, yeah. If you're doing something like that, where you're like, I want to, let's say let's say like the thing Ray did, right, where he bought that Optimus Prime thing. Let's say the
Yes.
Optimus Prime thing was thousands of dollars, right? Like thousands. Like a real collect. Was it thousands of
It was
dollars?
$2,000.
Bruh. Bruh. God damn. I was not expecting that.
It was $2,000.
Damn. But you owe it to yourself, man, because you don't be
Sure.
buying shit for yourself.
Yeah,
So
yeah. It's not like Ray's
I can't
making.
even say I can't say too much. I know the way Ray be.
I only justified it because I was like, I'm gonna have this for the rest of my life.
Exactly. Okay? It's pretty much a collectible. It's a collectible.
Collectible. This is my son. Don't talk about it like that,
No,
bro. What the fuck is
no,
wrong
what I'm
with you?
saying is it represents that can really be counted as one of your assets, to be honest.
Yes,
You gotta watch the cat around it though, man. You gotta watch the cat.
Cat, don't touch this.
The cat, that cat will really be like,
Cat gonna
don't
find
touch
himself in the headlock. He get too close.
You're like, don't touch it. Don't touch it. The cat is like,
Nah, it actually it does not give a fuck about this thing, bro. Like it has not even looked at it. It's more interested in the boxes behind it. I have some boxes behind it. It just be looking at them.
Cats love boxes.
I literally have a box in the middle of my room, and the only reason it's still here is because the cat likes to sit in it.
Yeah, cats love boxes and shit. They love bowls, boxes, jars. But
should we leave it?
They some interesting little critters, man.
Yeah. Well, what I was gonna say, sure, whatever, $2,000. Let's say it was more than that. Let's say it was like thousands, right? Like fucking 10K purchase, right? And you're like, oh, I really want this thing. Like this thing, Like, this is the thing I want. Like, I've never really wanted anything else. I want this thing. And you're saving up your money for that? Sure, go for it. You know, you just want it. Like, it's just something you just want. It's
I
an
I
irrational want.
I did that for my e-bike. You know what I'm saying? I don't even need to explain the usefulness of it. I
Oh
mean,
yeah, same.
fucking, I needed. I saved up for it, and it's cutting my time in terms of being able to get to work.
Yeah.
So it's things like that
Your
that
job's like
it's
5 minutes
a
away,
sense of
right?
work. And walking is like it's a little bit rough. It's like 30 or 40 minutes driving. Driving
Bro,
like a
driving would
good
be
7.
so unworth it.
Driving a 7, and then by bike I get there in like 10. So I'm cutting it by like 20 minutes.
And the e-bike in general has multiple uses. You can use that shit to get around.
I can
Bro,
make deliveries with it. I could get around. You know what I'm saying? It's
I
just
really do enjoy
different.
riding my e-bike. It's kind of just lit. I rode it to Vanguard's house the other day.
Yeah.
I got a little lost, but I had a nice time.
Yeah, that was cool. That was cool. And then we were just sitting there looking at it and talking. And the guy, and then one of my landlords came and was telling a story about how he saw some guy die on a fucking motorcycle.
Yes, he was like, "Oh yeah, that's how I saw that one guy die." And I was like, "Oh damn, I guess I gotta return this now."
He got to save them stories when I'm not on the bike.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Tell that another time, man. Now I gotta go home after this. Like,
He's like, you know what? It's all right. I'm gonna walk. He just
I just leave it down. I was like, "Oh, I'll see you later, bro."
You watch that for me? But yeah. What was the general point I was making about money? Oh yeah, you're meant to spend money. Blah blah blah. Like yeah, I feel like what I'm gonna do, what I aim to do anyway, is I aim to use. Like I said, you're supposed to use your money, and like I feel like your wealth is represented more in like things you own or things you've put money towards, and you're not supposed to just be sitting there living like a monk, or just don't break your back for money. I have nothing against people who like refuse to work themselves to death. Like they're just like, I'm just gonna live a simple life, and that's how I'm gonna live. Those people, I think, have got it. They know what they're doing. Because like, even if you want to say like, oh, you gotta, because a lot of people they measure their lives in terms of success. Like you're supposed to be successful, right? And I say this like a lot of people will say, trying to think of how to explain this. They will be like, your purpose in life is to work hard and to meet new challenges and to do that kind of stuff. And I, generally speaking, I do kind of agree with that. But like I said, I was thinking in my head, I was like, yeah, but how much of that is like brainwashing, like pumping into your brain, making you think the only way you're worth anything is if you're contributing on this large scale to these like companies and corporations. I was like, what if your big contribution, like I said, is just trying to do right by the people around you, or maybe you have, ulterior. Why am I fucking having a brain fart now? You have things that matter to you more outside of the typical, you know,
Yes, indeed, it really do be like that. You're on
outside
a
of the
roll. Your mind just
yeah, outside of the matrix, right? Things that are outside of like, having the best job and having
outside
all
of the 9 to 5 grind, and you have other,
exactly. What
yeah.
what if what if you just like art? What if you like art a lot and you like carving wood and that kind of thing, right? And like if you could build something out of that, sometimes like it doesn't have to become this big giant multinational corporation. Just, I like carving wood. I like doing this. I'm gonna make some money doing this. And like you find that you can make a kind of a living doing it. Maybe you're not super rich, but you can live. You're making a living off of carving wood and just living a normal simple life. Like what if this is what gives you purpose? What if you found your purpose and it doesn't involve like trying to shatter all these boundaries and work hard. You got to work hard. You got to work hard, bro. You got to work hard. You got to grind. It's like, what if your grind is just doing what you enjoy and finding a way that you can live off of that? That's like the one thing I think I would say most people should look into. Like, you're not necessarily going to be successful, but you should at least consider and think if it's possible to find a way to live off what you enjoy. And if you can, to do it. And I feel like if enough people started doing that shit, it would cause the system to collapse and to change. Because imagine
a
if
lot of people
people
have been doing that now. Like I see it all
exactly
over Instagram where people's like, I like making these things. Please buy them. Plus, and enough people are buying them. A lot of people are starting these smaller businesses, and I'm not even saying small as like look at that like little business, like they don't want it to scale into some multinational like fucking wood carving corp. Like they don't want that. It's like I make these. I enjoy making these. That's it.
Yeah.
I
And
mean,
go for it.
I was gonna say you can't. You also can't. It can't get to that level, that larger level of where everybody is doing that, right? Everybody's doing what they love, because there's also some services that need to be provided in society, and not everybody are gonna love those services, right? Like there's the places that you go to take care of errands, right? The supermarket, laundromat, even I don't know, getting a haircut, whatever it is.
Some
Like,
people like doing hair.
no, yeah, some people like doing hair.
Some people like doing hair. Some people like taking care of people. Like I feel like a lot of people would end up doing a lot of the services that we do need. And there are some people who they might not have a passion for creating things, but they like doing things that other people need. Like there's always gonna be someone who's like, oh, I see that people need this, and they'll fill that role.
Yeah, there are always gonna be people trying to fill needs. And that's always gonna exist. But now imagine if instead of slaving away for some giant corporation, you're doing it for yourself. Like you're doing someone's taxes and numbers on your own, and you get paid for it. And that's just how you make your living, you know? And it would stop with a lot of the crazy inflation of worth and when it comes to a job, like how some jobs are very weird and don't seem like they they need to exist, but like the inflation of how much that job is worth, because the market creates value, right? So the idea is this thing, or at least that's the assumption, that like this thing is really needed, so that's why it costs so much. And it's like it's not always true. Like sometimes it's just people's assumption of this thing is what makes its value become inflated, and it seems like it's worth more than it actually is. So yeah, like I feel like on some level the system needs a little bit of a jolt, like a little bit of a restart. And if enough people started walking away, as is happening, people are quitting their jobs in mass, actually. A lot
They're getting
on
fired in mass.
that too, but people are also quitting a lot too.
Yeah.
People are quitting as well.
A lot of people are
Again,
quitting to go to those companies that are laying people off.
yeah. So like I feel like if enough of that happened, if people started trying to make their own things, especially in the terms of the entertainment industry, like if enough alternatives started to rise up, things start to change. Things now, companies can't treat people the way they used to, because it's like people have more options now. And I remember even something that me and Ref had this conversation a while ago. We were saying like the true way to escape the matrix is not to become like rich or powerful or or successful. It's to become self-reliant, like to literally be in a situation where like in terms of Ref, like where he can fix his car if something's wrong with it. He has enough money that he can buy food if he absolutely.
That man lives on his own terms. You know what I'm
Yes,
saying? That's on your own terms.
he literally he can drive to that place he needs to pick up fresh produce and things like that. Like if you can live in that way, you are truly free. like things can, like, all the supermarkets in the world could collapse tomorrow and Ref would probably still have a way to get food. You know what I mean? Like if you can live like that, you've truly escaped the matrix. And to live like that in the city is crazy. The fact that he managed to do that in the city is insane. Usually when people are able to live that way, it's after they've escaped from the city and like they're out in the middle of nowhere planting their own food and shit. So it's nuts that he did that. Um that's what I want to do. I want to reach that point where I'm completely, sustained by myself. Even in terms of like my validation, like it completely comes from within. Like I'm close to that now, but there's still moments where I find myself wondering a little too much about what people outside of me are thinking, right? Um and generally speaking, I feel like this is like me kind of shifting to a pivoting a little bit. I feel like chasing success is dumb, because I feel like if you're doing the correct things in your life and going about things in a logical, not even logical, but in like a purposeful manner, that success will come to you, Like even in terms of this channel, I started chilling out because I was like thinking in my head, I was like, do I really want some super accelerated jump to the top? I was like, not really, because then I won't have the opportunity to shape things and learn and to like really direct where I want to go. If it happens too fast, now I'm stuck doing something I don't want to do. You know what I mean? I'm like a fucking Jake Paul. Uh,
Or if that happens that fast, you won't be able to maintain it. Right?
that's another thing. What if I become too trendy and then, I burn out. I become like a one-hit wonder and boom, I'm back down to to the bottom again, right? I was like, I kind of like that things are happening in this slow ascent. And I want it to stay that way because I want to be able to learn and to be able to pivot and to be able to change and to be able to change my mind and to be able to do this. I want to have that freedom. Like there's way more. You would think you have much more freedom when you shoot to the top, but you don't. Because then, like in terms of entertainment, if you become too big too fast, you have to make what the people want. It's what they want that matters. Because what they wanted is what got you to that point. So you can't just up and switch out of nowhere because then all of them are gonna leave or they're gonna get mad at you. Or you're fucking, let's say you become super big. Now you have these sponsors. Your sponsors are pretty much telling you what to do. They're like, dude, yeah, those videos you made last week, yeah, you can't be making stuff like that. It's not performing as well. You need to go back to the stuff you were doing before. And now you feel trapped. Yeah.
Yeah, you end up chasing a demand and not chasing what you want, and it becomes more about what other people want instead of the vision that you had.
Yeah, now I feel like it's a lot more balanced. And there's a great thing because I've always said to people I would never want to be famous. I wouldn't wish that on my greatest enemy. Because being famous, you're no longer you. You're not a person. It's like you're what everyone else wants you to be when you become famous, and it's like that can quickly ruin your life. Like a lot of these famous people are not happy. As they'll seem happy, but they're not. Like they'll come out years later revealing that they were battling depression the entire time they were famous. It's not a great way to live having all those eyes on you all the fucking time. Like I don't know, man. I don't know what else to say. What about you guys?
I mean, feel like you covered a lot of it, really. Like, I do agree with a lot of the points. Like, I never wanted to be famous. It's never crossed my mind. Having everyone knew who I am, and I don't like that
Yeah,
shit.
what if you was famous for making Gundams, bro?
No, I don't want to be famous. I don't want to be famous.
That'd be
Bro,
fire. That'd be
when I was in
fire. That'd be
college,
fire.
I was literally like, I couldn't sit in the more populated areas because every few minutes someone would come up and like say hi to me and like try to talk to me. I would just literally just like, I would avoid all those places. I'd be sitting in my dorm room. I'd be
Yeah.
sitting in my friend's dorm room. I'd be sitting in my workspace being like,
All they wanted to do was show love to you, man. You couldn't even appreciate your fans.
bro, I didn't look at them being like, oh man, these fucking. I was just like, hello, how you doing? But I'm sitting there trying to eat lunch, bro. Leave me alone. Like I don't fucking know you. Oh man, and then like everyone was always trying to ask me about my job all the time. Like, oh, can we do this? Can we do that? I was like, nigga, I'm not even wearing the staff shirt. I'm a regular nigga right now. I don't like Target's closed, bro. Go away.
I mean, in terms of that, I'm not gonna lie, I'd probably like that only because it's me talking to the common people. I don't know, but if it was happening too frequently, it'd probably start to annoy me.
Bro,
Yeah.
literally my senior year, there was this guy be like, "Yo, Ray, well, Ray, what's good?" I'm like, "Hi," and for like 2 weeks straight, he was like, "Yo, Ray, what's up?" And like I, for the life of me, did not know who the fuck this guy was, but he would constantly call out to me, and I was just like, I don't know who he is. I can't remember where he knows my name from, and but he was acting like he knew me for years. I was like, fuck.
It's
It was
funny
so
you
weird.
mention it. Funny you mention because that's something that can happen if you're a kind, sociable person. Random people just start to just think they're your friend or whatever. Like even back in high school, and in college it happened with the frat guys because I was a talkative guy, and I guess in some ways, some people told me I have charisma. This is what some people told me that I have a charismatic nature,
They
right?
looked at you and said you
So,
got the Riz, bro.
yeah. So when I talk to these frat guys, I guess I would connect to them and I'd become very popular among these guys. So it'd be like what you said, where whenever I showed up to something, they'd be like, "Yo, Gio," be happy that I arrived. They would see me outside and talk to me, and like it did cause some friction because people have this assumption of what frat guys are,
Yes.
So when I was with the more nerdy people, they would kind of try to like imply things and like look down on me because the frat guys would come and start talking to me and invite me to things, or like they would say they were about to go smoke weed or something. They'll come and ask if I wanted to come.
Which is
And
really funny because it's like you're just
yeah,
doing what you think they do to you. It's like, yo, relax yourself.
yeah, that's what I'm trying to explain to these people. I'm like, they're not much different from you guys. I was like, with them, I talk about mainly the same stuff. I was like, you see how we sit here and we just make jokes and we shoot the shit? I do the same thing with them. And I was like, and it was like, even if you want to say talking about deep, complex things, I do that with them too. I was like, we have some interesting conversations. So sure, it was mostly me who would bring these things up, or I would mention something that they, but like yeah. And I remember I met some of the more supposedly artistic kids, and they were crazy people. They were crazier than the frat guys. I
Yes.
remember I was hanging out with these
Yes.
musicians. Yeah,
Bro, the
hang out.
LARP kids, oh my god, I don't want to know what they were doing behind closed doors.
The fucking, I remember, I'm gonna tell you one story. I'm not even gonna get into some of the other stuff. I'm gonna tell you this one story just to show you how weird these people were. Chilling with the guy, he's smoking a cigarette. We're talking. I think I'm drinking. I might be. No, I don't think I was smoking. Back then, I was like, I'm not touching that stuff. Flash forward to me smoking with Emilio every time we're out. Well, anyways, I look at his car and the rear window is smashed to bits. I was like, oh, how did that happen? He's like, oh well, one day I was drunk and I had my guitar and I just started smashing it. And I was like, the way
What?
the way he just said it, like it was something completely normal. Like I was like, oh okay. And I didn't know how to respond. I didn't know what to say. I was like, whatever, man. He just smashed his window for no reason. For no reason. Just like
And it's wild because like he didn't have the money to fix it because it was still smashed, right? So this man really took it. He took his car and broke it. That's crazy.
for nothing. For nothing. For no reason. What an interesting guy. That's like that's all I can say. What an interesting guy. But like I was gonna say, so like yeah, I would have those people talking to me a lot. A lot of random people who just remember me because of moments I talked to them. And like I was a very popular guy, right? And I guess I enjoyed it. It wasn't like that annoying because it wasn't like they would bother me all the time. It did become a little annoying when I started working in the cafeteria and people still recognize me.
Yes, I'm telling you, it gets mad annoying. You're just there, you're doing something, and people's like, "Oh my god, it's you!" And they're chatting with you. He's like, all right, move on though. Come on, like next."
Yeah, it was kind of embarrassing. It was kind of embarrassing a little bit. I'm serving them their food. I'm like, damn, this person gonna recognize me. They walk up, and because I'm a very jokey guy, this is the other thing that'd be annoying. So you guys know how jokey I am and how a lot of the things I say probably I'm not being serious, right? So now imagine now you're serving food and everybody walking up to you trying to be funny. That's, that's what would happen. Each person trying to go, oh, blah, 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 turns some stupid joke. And I'm like, look, I'm not in the mood for this right now. Let's just keep it moving, okay? Let's keep it moving. Like, yeah. They each trying to make a fucking joke or try to reference a joke I made a while ago.
Just take your mashed potatoes and get out of here, man.
Yeah, get the fuck out of here. God. Oh, and then the other thing that would happen, because people know you, they try to get you to give them more food.
Mm-hmm.
Remember the frat guys fucking, yo, so you think you could give me like a beef patty? No, not a beef patty. When I say beef patty, I'm talking about like for a hamburger, right?
Yeah.
Like, can I get like a veggie patty and then a beef patty on top of the veggie patty and then like another veggie patty on top of the beef patty? I was like, no. I'm not even supposed to be giving you more than one patty. Like you're overdoing it, bro. It's like
wait, you're supposed to only get one patty and they asking for 3. That's crazy.
yes,
That's crazy. It's like we're not even friends, bro. That's crazy.
Yes, and it was my fault. The worst part was when you would do it once. You'd give somebody something like, okay, he's like, oh, can I have a veggie patty and a beef patty? I'm like, okay, sure, whatever. And someone behind them saw that shit. They're like, oh, can I get what he got? I'm like, oh.
Yeah.
If I say no to you, now you're gonna act like I gave the other guy special preference. Then the next person's gonna come asking for the same shit. So one time that did happen to me, like 3 people, and then I finally looked at the last one. I was like, look, man, I'm not even supposed to be giving nobody more than one. Like, look, you're just gonna have to take the one thing.
I got caught up, man. I overextended myself, man. Please just forgive me.
Please just take they're just like, oh, it's okay, it's cool. And I was like, okay, good. Yeah, man. So
what are your opinions on the best American cuisine?
Sorry, this just came out of nowhere.
That's what the comments say.
Best American cuisine. That's very interesting. I really like cheeseburgers. I think cheeseburgers are like the perfect American food. Like there's American as American gets. You know, cheeseburgers real nice.
Safe option.
What was that?
It's a safe option.
Yes, and it's always safe. Yeah. Whenever I go to
option.
restaurants, I order the cheeseburger because you won't know whatever else, whatever.
Well, what's your opinion? What's your opinion, EJ?
Yeah, cheeseburger.
We'll go with pizza.
Pizza?
Usually plain.
American?
That's another safe option. You know what I'm saying? You don't know what type of dietary restrictions people got. You just get pizza, man.
What other kind of pizza are you eating, Ray? You eating fucking Italian pizza? Have you ever had an Italian pizza? It's not that good.
Pizza's from Italy, though.
Yeah, well, we're spoiled by a different version of pizza. Actual pizza tastes way different.
Yes, but I was just like, she said American cuisine, so I was like, pizza.
I'm oddly annoyed how this man says pizza, bro. Like, the way you pronunciate this.
Okay, pizza.
How are you annoyed at the man saying the word that's not even in English?
Pizza.
You're right.
Pizza. As I will say from now on.
Well, he already said burgers. I'll go with the hot dog. Hot dogs usually taste fine. They're usually just okay.
Hot dogs are good. But like,
I was trying to charge you $4, and then you gotta push off with that.
I want you to tell that story. Before we tell the story,
now we've told it like 4 times already, bro.
We told it here about
yes, I think we told it already.
Oh man, but
wait, box cutter?
No. Pizza, the hot dog story, not the Domino story.
Look at box cutter, Jesus Christ. But the thing with the I'd go to restaurants, and every time I would make a sandwich.
Pizza from Pisa.
Pizza from Pisa. Pizza from Pisa.
So like you're saying Pisa from the building structure, the Leaning Tower of Pisa?
Pisa.
Well, yeah, Pisa.
How you supposed to say how do you say the word?
Pizza. Like you know people be saying I got that.
What the fuck is pizza, bro? No,
I got that za on me. You know what I'm saying? When they be like, I got that za.
No.
Pizza.
Nah. He watching too much Goofy movie. He out here thinking it's pronounced za. Get the fuck out of here, bro.
Pizza.
You got that pizza?
Yo, that sounds like I'm holding a sword in my hand. Pizza.
You got the sauce, bro?
Oh yeah, it's only fucking Disney song, fucking Gaston. His song about pizza. Oh my god! But yeah, whatever.
You said it differently that last time. You said it differently. I don't know why. It sounded different.
Maybe you made me insecure. Maybe that's what it is. You made me insecure. Well, every time I'd go to restaurants, I would make fucking sandwiches. Like I'd be sitting there. Let's say the thing had a little bit of bread in there. I would turn it into a sandwich every time. Start putting the things on top of the bread, make it into a sandwich, and start biting into it.
So what I'm hearing is you just go to restaurants and disrespect the chefs?
Sort of, yeah.
You just be out here making their shit into sandwiches.
Making their shit into sandwiches. Every time. And when I was at home, I'll do the same thing. I'll just get 2 slices of bread, start putting the thing on top of it. Or like, let's say you ate the thing, and there's a little bit of it left, and you don't really want to be sitting there with the fork trying to scoop up the very little bit. You just put it on the bread and make it into a sandwich and start eating it. You know? Yeah. But man, I feel like chasing after success and recognition is like when that thing kind of comes to you if you're doing the right thing, is what I feel. Like if you're going about life the right way, you will get enough recognition and enough success in time. You just have to be patient and trust the process, Because even back in those days when I was like in college and I was fairly popular or whatever, and at my job where I was like well liked, I was not trying in any of those times. I was just being myself, and like I would talk to people, sometimes I would make the effort to try and talk to people. That's one thing I would do. Like I would walk up to someone in the job and just start talking to them for no reason. Like if they were new, like, hey, how you doing? Blah blah blah. My name's Gio. Like I would do that. But that's about it. And yeah, that's the way I'm trying to live now. I'm trying to like live in a very balanced and purposeful kind of way. Like trying to keep things like what's the word I'm looking for? I guess I am trying to narrow my focus a little bit. Trying to keep my eyes aligned on a North Star and keep myself grounded, touch grass,
You sampling soil though?
sampling soil, yeah. I eat a handful of soil every time I go to the park.
Good, 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 good,
Yeah.
good. You gotta sample the soil. You can't just touch the grass. You gotta sample the soil as well.
What about you guys? You
You gotta
guys
absorb some apples.
absorb some apples. You guys trying to get successful or you trying to stay grounded? What's the plan?
Bro, I was actually like chatting with someone about this the other day because like it makes the most sense. Like to get like to do that house hacking thing, you get a multifamily house and then you're renting it out and you're doing all this shit and you become a fucking landlord, right? And I was thinking it's like, damn, if I really want to like have a comfortable living situation, I should do something like that. But then it dawned on me, it's like, I don't want to do none of that shit, bro. I just want to like,
Exactly,
I
bro. I
don't
was
want to
just
do
thinking
none
about
of
this
that
shit.
shit, bro.
Yo, it's moments like this that make me realize Ray and me are the same person. Because I was dead just thinking about this just a couple of like I think it was yesterday. I was thinking about it.
Nah,
I was
that
like,
I was thinking about this shit yesterday. I was having a
yeah,
conversation with someone. I was like, I don't want to do none of that. I want to just pay my little rent, call it a day, or maybe if I have one house, it's a little mortgage, call it a day. I'm not trying to do all that extra shit, bro. I'm not
yeah.
trying to have someone call me up and be like, yo, the toilet's leaking. It's like, nigga, what the fuck did you do to my toilet? What'd you do?
It's funny you mention that. My uncle, when he was like, he had all his houses. Um, one of the one of the houses, he would get called there all the fucking time. There was always something wrong, and he didn't have that much money, so he wasn't trying to. He didn't have somebody on retainer, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and he'd always send there. He had like one guy, and it was like some old Jamaican man who's been working his whole life,
Nah.
and yeah, he only did him because he could give him less money, and he would like give him food. It was a very
It was an
disgraceful.
okay enough job that people who, he was like, it's fixed.
Yeah, it was a disgraceful thing he was doing to this man. I'm not gonna lie, right? It was a very, very skeevy kind of thing,
But that
right?
was success for him, right?
Yeah. So, anyways, I remember one time the woman. Okay, the woman said the tub was leaking, right? And then he went there, could find nothing wrong with the tub, and the woman was very, she was obese. She was an obese woman. So then, he was mad, and he was talking about it, and he was talking to me. I'm a little kid. He's talking to me about it. He's like, the woman take our fat ass and gets to the tub every day, and spilling the damn water all over the place, and calling me. That shit always killed me. Because he was like she was like ruining the fucking roof because the water would leak and then mess up the roof underneath the bathroom, and she's complaining to him, and he was like, it's her fatas, as he said. Her getting in the tub and spilling water all over the place, and again, like you said, it was very fucking annoying. It was stressing him out because this man already worked like a demon. He already had a job where he had to be up at like 4 a.m. and he was working all the way to like 6 p.m., right? So this man was working some crazy, like over 12-hour shifts. And then on top of that, even on his weekends or even after work, he now has to drive over to this bitch's house to figure out what's going on, why she's calling him this time. He got to be, he got to go get the guy to set the tiles. He has to watch him for a little bit, then leave. It was just like very stressful.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, I was just thinking about that shit the other day. I was like, yeah, the house hacking thing. I don't know. The only reason I was thinking that I might be able to handle it because my mom was planning on getting a house. So I told my mom, I told her this from the beginning. I was like, I'm gonna be downstairs. I was like, you, for all intents and purposes, are the landlord. I was like, I won't do anything. I won't, like say anything. If anything gets real bad, then I will, step out. But it's you that has to get the rent from them and that kind of stuff. But then I was like, they might try to take advantage of like an older woman. So like you know, probably wouldn't even be a way to get around it, right?
It depends.
Yeah,
'Cause like,
yeah.
and then I was thinking about the ethical nature of it too, because I was like, that's just not sustainable. Like
Why do you say
one
that?
person owning all the housing, it's not sustainable. And like,
Yeah,
say I'm a more ethical person, right? Like I'm not charging them out the wazoo. Like I'm charging them just enough that it's covering the mortgage and maybe a little extra. Like, and I mean a little extra. But that's not what these other people doing. They buying houses, fixing them up, making them luxury, and then charging you out the ass for them, bro. They're like, yeah, this was a $200,000 property. I made it a $600,000 property, and I'm just like, yo, what the fuck are you doing?
yeah. A lot of people are probably gonna do what I want to do and what I suspect you want to do. I don't want to do house hacking. I just want to rent out portions of a house. But I'm probably not gonna do that shit anymore. Um, I probably would just have my house for myself and just like because one of the reasons why I want a house now is because I want to be able to plant my own food and that kind of thing. Might start doing that here, to be honest. Might begin a little bit of a project trying to grow like tomatoes or something, right?
You gotta
Um,
grow potatoes, bro. Them bitches grow in anything.
you're right. Some potatoes would be great. That's a lot of protein and carbs.
Also, they
Hey,
just don't die. You know how hard you gotta
yeah,
kill a potato? You cut that shit in half, it's still alive, bro.
yeah, true, true, true. So yeah, I want to be able to grow food, and I do want to live far as I can away from the city. Not far enough that I can't get back, but far enough that I don't gotta be worrying about like fumes and homeless people. Like kind of stuff.
Mm-mm-mm.
Oh, speaking of homeless people, even where I live, like to show you how weird this stuff is, right? There's a homeless guy by where I work, who every time he sees me, he's always like, hey, because I've treated him like a human a few times. So it's like the people when I'm walking with the girls to go to the store or something, they'll see this homeless guy like greeting me. I'm like, hey, how's it going, man? And like, why do you know that guy? Whatever. I'm just like, he's just a homeless guy who's around here. I probably greeted. I don't even remember when I greeted him. I know I did. I have a vague memory of doing it. So now every time he sees me, he greets me. And I do it too because that's probably the highlight of his day. That probably makes him feel like a human. Everyone else probably acts like he's a ghost, and I'm the one person that makes him feel like he exists probably because he seems like ecstatic when he sees me and says hi. Yeah. Ah, man,
That's how it
crazy
be.
world, huh?
That's
Crazy
how it
world.
be. But only sometimes.
Yeah. What about you, EJ? You trying to chase after success, or you trying to be grounded? What's the plan?
Ain't no way I could do both. Stay grounded while getting the success. Come on,
I think
man.
I think it's possible. It's
What I'm trying
hard,
to
but
do.
yeah. Man,
If that's attainable, then that's what I want.
I feel like you're very grounded already, because you seem to do things in a very measured kind of way, and like from what I could tell, I mean, you got rid of the second job, so I feel like now the
I
the
knew that
hustle
was coming. I know I was waiting for it.
the
I was
hustle
waiting for you to mention
before
it.
before in that moment it seemed you were more motivated by the hustle, right? But I feel like the hustle part is less important to you. It's more about, like you said, a disciplined lifestyle. Like you seem to want to live a life of focus. Like that samurai, what's his name again? Mushashi? I think it's Mushashi.
Musashi?
Yeah.
Who the hell?
That
Who the hell is that? That's a real
Samurai.
person.
yeah, it's a real guy.
Hmm.
So, let me- yeah, Miyamoto Mushashi. Or Musashi. Miyamoto Musashi. He's like the samurai who like won a lot of battles and wrote this book called Dokudo and a few other things, the Book of Five Rings and stuff. And basically he preached living a life of like discipline and focus and limiting your desires as much as you could, like trying to keep yourself grounded, like every once in a while you could enjoy a nice meal or like enjoy a nice drink or some fine clothing, but like not to overdo it. It's like he felt like you should live the majority of your life in as normal as you could and then have those few moments where you go all out, where it's like the highlight. You're like, okay, I'm just gonna have some fun this time. So yeah, you seem to be doing that. You live a life of focus. You care more about the discipline and things rather than the status and the the symbols. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I never been the type of person that needs like the instant gratification. I've always been able to, hold off on, receiving that. Like I don't have a problem with delaying that process. I remember I forgot who said it. It was like uh it was something about success. I think it was if it takes long to get there, but if we move in the right way, that's how I want to go about it. Like, even if it takes long, because I don't. It was, you were saying it even with the stream earlier. Like, if the numbers is not jumping, like, because we could build on those practices that we put together, like those good methods.
Yeah,
Sometimes when you hit that peak, you don't know necessarily how you got there. Like you don't know the recipe for success. I'm more caught up in like that recipe and building those skills, refining them, sharpening them over time. And I try to do that just as a person. Like when I you know when I interact with people, uh, I've always trying to find a way of the better way to better myself overall, not just what I'm trying to reach, but the type of person I am to people. So
yeah, definitely, man. That's something I focus on a lot too. Trying to treat people a certain way, and I feel like even when it came to approaching, like, I don't mean to always take this back to approaching girls, or is this something that I used to do with Emilio a lot? I used to do that with him very often. So like a lot of the time, and while I was doing it, there were so many lessons about life and people that I learned while I was doing that shit, which is why I thought it was so interesting. And I feel like right around the time, uh, EJ became more part of the group was a time when I started to become a little disillusioned, right? But before, when it was easier, when it was like easy as fuck, it was because I cared less about the result and more about the process. Because to me, it was like a learning process and growing. So like I wouldn't care so much about what was coming of it, and that would make it easy. Because it didn't matter what came of it as long as I learned the lesson that I needed to learn. Like I remember the first time I ever did it, I was in a park, and like it was when I told you guys, it's like I became like a bullet. Like like Lee would aim the gun and fire me and send me to go talk. I was talking to him, and it was like crazy. Like this was like the shit where I was talking to like three people at once, like that kind of stuff. And I was like, I remember, I'll never forget talking to like two people and bouncing between the both of them like this, like fucking, like yeah, like talking. And like I was to give you the fucking context of this, why the shit was so funny. I was with three other guys, and we were supposed to be a group doing this together. These three random guys, we linked up like the same shit me and Emilio, well, we be doing with Emilio now, where we meet random people and try to fucking bring them into the group. So we did that. We formed a group. And then we walk up to these two girls, and then I'm the only one talking to 'em. Like the others, I think I dominated it without meaning to, where I was just jumping between the both of them. But I think it's because the other guys were too worried about trying to be cool that's why they were messing up. And I was just talking to them, asking them questions. That was a real goofy conversation now that I mention it because the girl starts immediately talking about how there's the two white girls. The other girl was like, yeah, because my family, like we like grew up in the projects. And I was like, okay. And I think I just changed the subject. I was like, why are you talking to me about the projects? Is it because I'm black? Like, did you think did you think we relate to each other because you're talking about the projects? Like what is this? And I just moved on. I was like, why are we talking about projects? Like that was just not interesting to me. Um, but what I'll say is the reason I bring that story up is because that entire day I kept forgetting to ask for their information or their numbers or anything because I didn't care about that part. And it was funny that that was one of the best times. That was like one of my best performances. I can. Oh no, I'm lying.
Performances.
I'm lying. It was one of the. I will say it was a time when I did it the most, where I talked to mad fucking people, and in that regards. But there have been times where I had much better conversations and had much better connections with people that were like scattered about. Because I think one thing why you should trust the process is because, again, I'll use approaching as an example, right? Let's say one, if you're gonna call yourself wanting to approach people, don't think about it in terms of I want to do it to fuck bitches. Like that's probably not gonna happen, right? At least not right away, So you have to think about it as if you're doing this to learn and also to learn about yourself. You start to learn interesting things about yourself when you're doing this. Because I remember before me and Ray would have these conversations where I had this opinion of myself where I thought, I mean, to this, I do think I'm a little weird sometimes in how I think about things. This is just other people who notice this about me. Um, I don't have any diagnosis or anything, so I don't know why, but my brain does seem to reach certain areas that most other people don't reach, right? Not even trying to say like I'm smart or anything. It's just I think about things in a weird way, is what I think, right? And this made me feel alienated from my fellow man. I used to find it very hard to relate to people. People would have conversations and I couldn't understand their motivations or things like that. And it's like the human side was missing, is what what I would say. So it made me feel weird. It made me feel very different from my fellow man and hard to make friends and that kind of thing. Actually, no, it wasn't even hard to make friends. It was all in my head. I would make friends very easily. It's just for some reason I was obsessed with this idea that it was difficult for me to form connections, right? But then when I started talking to random people, you start to learn new things about yourself and start to realize, you know what? There are plenty of normal traits about me that make this, easier than I think. Like, you have all these assumptions about yourself and you kind of unlearn a lot of things as you're talking to people. You're like, all those things I thought about myself, those negative ideas and stuff, those weren't true. Those are just things that were put into my head. I don't know how. Maybe it was trauma, maybe it was something someone told you. But you start to unlearn things. So when I would talk to like these people, I would unlearn a lot of stuff about myself. I would become a better communicator, actually. Like I would know how to communicate more effectively. That's one thing I would learn. You would start to realize it starts to humanize other people. Like you become much more understanding of the people around you and you're much less likely to jump to conclusions and stuff because you're meeting all kinds of people, you know what I mean? And you start to realize that there are all kinds of people in this world and like lifestyles that you thought were like very degenerate or that kind of thing before, you meet the kind of people who are doing these kind of things, you start to realize, huh, they're not that much different from you or I, right? And the other thing is you start to one thing you learn is that not every time you do it are you going to have this amazing conversation. And this goes for anything. You're going to have off days, good times, bad times. It's going to fluctuate, it's going to fluctuate. It's not going to be this amazing ascent right away unless you're the most handsome guy on the planet and like maybe you'll have the halo effect and it always goes well for you.
I mean, you still have those days where like you don't have the greatest conversations, right?
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. So that's why you got to focus on, like you were saying, EJ, on the process and on being. I don't want to say disciplined. Maybe it is. There's a level of discipline because, like, it does take a lot of like mental discipline. Like, let's say you
Yeah,
enter. Yeah. What were you
yeah,
gonna say?
not it's definitely discipline because
Yeah. Yeah.
if you could walk away from something that you're working on, but knowing that, all right, I didn't get there today, but today I put in a good effort. Like these are habits that I want to build on, right? You at least put yourself in a better position to attain that goal. So that's something that I work on extensively. Like I'm always that because that's all a part of the discipline. It's like there are days you're gonna even if you go to work, right? And there's you trying to get promoted or you're trying to, be put into another position. Um, that's your target on the wall. You're gonna go in every day for let's say, I don't know, 6 to 8 months to a year, maybe 5 years, however long it takes, and you're gonna have to be content with the fact that I'm gonna have to move every day as if I want that. And there's gonna be days I work and it's gonna be hard, it's gonna be stressful, and I'm not gonna get nothing out of it. It's not gonna feel like I'm moving one step closer to that target. It might not see the instant results, or you might not get the pat on your back or the acknowledgement that you're moving closer to your goal. But you have to feel that you're putting in that effort every day, and that's gonna add up in some small increments towards that goal. So that's the way that I approach it. Sometimes people slave away though, and they don't recognize that you're not actually building good habits, you're not really changing at all, you're not evolving, you're not doing anything. So you're getting lost in the discipline, but you're not really you're committing to it, but you're not really evolving. So
Yeah.
I try to like process is evolutionary. So I try to, like I said, look at the things that are good practices, try to build upon them, and keep on trying to replicate that behavior. Because I mean that's pivotal to everything. Even like with addicts that's trying to break out of that, and they want to retain a certain behavior. Anything that there is a target goal for, you have to maintain that steady discipline of good habit, not
Yeah.
just discipline, but good habits. Like I said, so
Yeah.
that's important.
Yeah, I think that's one of the things, like, in terms of when I was trying to build better social habits and better social skills, right? I think what happened is the evolution part, I think, is what was where things messed up. Like, things why it became stale to me is because, like, I would go out, hang out with, like, Ref or whatever, and you guys, and we talked to a couple of people, and I felt like, okay, I'm doing well in this, like, situation, in this simulation, right? But I wasn't doing it enough in the real world. Like, sure, every once in a while I would strike up conversation in the real world, but it would mostly be with people I worked with. Every once in a while I would try, like I would go to a store, try to make conversation with the person who's serving me. Like, oh, hey, how you doing today? How was your day? Like, I'll do that sometimes. But I feel like that was the next step. And because I didn't do that, that's what made me get bored of it and think that this is like a waste of time. I should have been focusing more on evolving to bring it into real life and trying to communicate with random people there, like just walking up to random people like that and trying to talk to people then, and started doing it in these nightclubs. Because like you said, there's the thing where it's like low hanging fruit and all that stuff. Like doing it in real life, now you extra have to be conscious because now the likelihood you're talking to some drunk person is not is not really that high. You're going to be talking to a conscious individual, and you have to be thinking about what you're saying, and focusing on the conversation. But
Yeah,
yeah,
you gotta test yourself in different ways.
yeah,
You can't be comfortable with how you succeed in certain situations. You got to branch out, try those new challenges, see how you are in the face of those challenges, and see where you have to measure up, or
yeah,
like how you have to shape up. And that's the hardest part to do is doing something and you're not like you're not benefiting from it instantly and knowing that like damn this is going to be a long time but this is something that I want and success is not like you could still be doing all the right things and you won't get it because it might be a time thing, it might be an acknowledgement thing, it might be it might be something outside of your control. So if you feel like you've done the steps to evolve, you can't at that point you can't really put it too much on yourself. You have to like try to seek it somewhere else. Try to get that
yeah,
success from somewhere else.
yeah. Or sometimes you have to realize that maybe you just have to wait for it to take effect. Like you just have to be a little more patient. You have to be a little more patient. Like especially like working out is a place where you have to exercise that discipline and patience a lot because even this was happening to me recently. Because I went on that fast, right? I looked pretty like ripped after I did the fast because the 7 days, you lose a lot of fat. I was looking good. Like a lot of the water fat was gone. Not water fat, but like water weight was gone. I was looking ripped. But then I'd go to the gym and I would look ripped, but I felt like I wasn't as big as I was before. And that's because I was bloated with water and that kind of stuff. Um, and like I was starting to lose motivation. I was starting to get a little mad because like I also had less energy. So like trying to shift back to lifting extremely heavy like it was before was harder. And I was starting to get a little angry, but then I had to remind myself, like, hey, dude, chill out. It's like relax, relax. This is a process. You gotta calm down. We're gonna have to restart a little bit. I was like, I had to like talk down my ego. I was like, dude, lower the weight just a little bit here. It's like because with the other machines, I was able to lift just as heavy. But then with the actual like free weights, I noticed I was struggling a little more. I was like, dude, lower the weight just a little bit. Try with the lower weight. Get yourself back in prime condition, and then go back to that weight. It's like you gotta relax. And like I literally had to give myself that pep talk in order to keep going because I was angry. I was like mad as fuck. I was about to get pissed. Like I remember I went back, right? That first day, I'm trying to do it, it's not working. I'm getting angry. I go to the machine. I was there for a little bit and I just left because I was like frustrated, right? And also I was tired. I was like tired as hell. And I didn't feel like how I usually do. So I left. But the next day I was able to, pep talk myself and keep myself going. And then I did it. That was a moment where I had an off day, but I made sure the off day didn't define me. I was like, okay, we had an off day. Tomorrow we're going to do better. And then the next day I did better. So, like, especially in terms of like, something like working out where the results aren't going to appear overnight. You're not going to go to the gym and start lifting 90 pounds and become super ripped. Like, it's not how it works. You got to start with a lower level, then you move up, you move up, you move up, and then like you're gonna be working out for a long fucking time. You're not gonna see that many results. Then you're gonna get your newbie gains, and you're gonna feel good about that. But then you're gonna look at the guy next to you and notice how ripped he is. Like, oh shit, okay, my newbie gains are nothing. And you're gonna have to keep doing it. Then after like maybe 5 years of consistent lifting, and like maybe less than that, you could start taking roids and get ripped a lot faster than that. But after like 4 or 5 years of consistent lifting, you'll probably finally be able to look in the mirror and be like, damn, I really like the way I look. You know? Yeah.
Yeah, so it's about trying to make that process more finding ways to make that process more digestible to you, where it becomes easier. Like I remember Bruce Lee had that quote about um that he said something about not wanting an easy life, but the strength to endure a difficult one. Because that's basically what it is. It's difficult. It's hard to get yourself to do certain things, to get up and be like, damn, I don't want to do, I don't want to do this, but there's something I'm trying to get to. Something I'm trying to reach. That is, if I stop now, it's gonna put all the hard work that I put into to shame. So I think you just have to have that internal fortitude and like I said, find ways where it doesn't seem as hard. Like try to make it um you know I don't want to say relaxing, but in a way that it's not that bad.
You're not burning out all the
Yeah,
time.
you're not burning out trying to do it.
Yeah. Again, it's
Even
not.
even if you gotta like manage it, like you work your way up gradually. Like if we talking about working out with the reps you do,
Yes.
or maybe if you want to start from 2 days a week, but you really hitting it hard those 2 days, and then you end up doing 3 days a week before it's working your way up through those steps,
Yeah,
and
you
then
gotta
yeah.
you got to do it how it works for you. How it works for you. You can't. That's one thing that happens. Like what Ray said, when you look at these Insta people and these IG people, like they'll do something their way, and you look at the way they do it, and in your head you're like, damn. If I'm not doing it like that, then there's really no point in doing it at all. But it's like, no, they probably didn't start out the way that they're showing you on their thing. Where like, let's say some guy is doing some crazy like fucking what's that shit called again? Like CrossFit kind of exercises where he's launching himself off the floor and into the air and doing like a jumping jack and back
Yeah,
down. Yeah,
that's just goofy.
yeah, like he didn't start that way. Like when he first started working out, he couldn't do that shit. You gotta do it how you can do it. Like if for now you can just do a couple of push-ups, that's all you can do. Do your push-ups. Like actually, this is a great point. I saw this video and it was this guy walking around saying, "Hey, do you want to do like it was like you want to do 40 push-ups or pass it on to the next person, right? Or double it and pass it to the next person." Every guy was like, "Double it, double it, double it." Gets to this girl, it is like 300 something push-ups now, right? So in my head, I'm like, I wonder if she's gonna do it or if she's gonna pass it off. And I thought the funny part would be like some ripped dude trying to do 600 push-ups, right? But no, the girl was like, "Okay, I'll try it," and she actually got down and started trying to do it. And, she fucked up. Her first push up, she fucked up. I was like, okay. But then she tried again. She tried again. She did two. She dropped again. She tried again and did three. And I was looking at that shit. I was like, yo, like that shit was cool. I was watching her like, damn, this bitch is awesome. And then like he had this like and she was smart as fuck too, because I'll show you what she was doing. You know those push-up things where you can adjust them? Like she kept adjusting. It's like she was experimenting. And each time she experimented in adjusting the things, she did more push-ups. So she was smart enough to keep trying to adjust and see what would work for her, right? I was like it was awesome watching her do this and figure her way out, figure it out over time. And then at the end, she said something that was even more awesome. Everyone in the comments was calling this woman a real Chad. I was like, this is the real Chad. She looks at the guy because she was a small girl too. It wasn't like she was like some bodybuilder chick. She looks at the guy and she goes, "Oh, where'd you get this from? Like, I actually want to get better at my push-ups, blah blah blah." And then he's just like, "Oh, you can have that one, blah blah blah." And then she got that for free. So that experience, it made her want to get better at them. And I was like, "Wow, that's cool that she wasn't completely discouraged by the first flop."
Good.
Yeah.
That is some real Chad behavior.
But anybody, do you have anything you want to say, Ray? Or
No, I was enjoying listening to what you guys were saying.
that's good. Anyways, You got a hypothetical, EJ? Or you want to just move on?
I don't got one today. Yeah, I was on a 2-game winning streak with the back to back, but
I'm
I can't even short today.
Do I have a hypothetical? Don't think so.
I think I had one. I think I was thinking of one on Tuesday yesterday, but we weren't streaming that day, so I can't think of it at the moment. I'll be forgetting to like throw it in the chat.
Yeah, just throw in the chat next
Yeah.
time. We'll figure it out. But
I googled top
final-
5 hypothetical questions. You want to know what number 1 was?
Oh
what?
man.
It's really stupid. If you were a transformer, what vehicle would you turn into?
Sure, let's answer that question. Why not?
A semi truck.
What'd you say?
Short?
A semi truck.
Semi truck, like Optimus.
Exactly.
Optimus.
It's only right. You got the man in your room.
He's a different kind of. He's the same kind of vehicle, but like an alien version on this planet, right?
That usually is like the thing. It's like, oh look, they're like the same thing, but when they go to Earth, they're like the Earth version. It's really dumb, but yeah.
Remember fucking Megatron was a gun?
That shit was cool as fuck, bro. I really fucked with that idea because I remember like he would transform, land in one of his subordinates' hands, and they start blasting, and like he had this giant arm cannon, bro. He was fucking cool as hell. But then they made him into a tank, and I was like, that's cool too.
Yeah, both are cool, but the gun thing is cool because it's like it's kind of interesting if you want to get philosophical about it, right? Where it's like the ruler is only as powerful as his as the people he's ruling allows him to be, because he turns into a gun and he's literally fired. He is useless unless they fire him. Isn't that funny?
Yes.
Very interesting.
Except he had a giant arm cannon, so he's like, I'll do
He can do that too. He can do that too. Yeah, he can still fuck you up.
I thought the tank was a good transition, but because like the only reason he was a gun was so when they sold the toy, you would transform him, and then you'd have this fucking hand cannon as a child, and you're just like blasting away at things.
Yeah. What about you, EJ? Who you transforming into?
I should go with Bumblebee. He got the Dodge Charger, right?
It depends.
Depends
on
what
the Charger.
Depends.
Him and Hot Rod are kind of like the same vehicle.
They are
right?
the same guy.
Yeah, they're the same dude. Yeah, him and Hot Rod. Think I might go with like a nice little. Starscream isn't the only one, but like a nice little like fighter plane or something. I think that'd be cool.
Yeah, I think in the Transformer movies he's the Camaro.
Oh, I'd go with a nice.
He's a Camaro. He has been a Dodge Charger though. I remember him being a Charger once.
I want to be a fighter plane. I think that would be dope. Like a nice little.
So you gonna be Starscream? You gonna look me in the face and?
I mean, Starscream is cool. Starscream is cool.
Starscream is not cool.
He's funny to watch. He's cool.
You know what? He's an interesting character. He is like an Iago type character, always plotting shit. I don't mean Iago the bird.
I don't want to be Starscream, but I would want to be able to transform into a plane. You know.
I also really like the Sideways character. He transformed into a motorcycle a lot of times. I thought the Energon version of him was real cool because he had these mini-cons where he would literally have a different head. The mini-con would become his head, and like depending on which head he had, the symbol on his chest would change. So he was playing both teams. So he was like, "Oh, yo, I'm an Autobot. Actually, I'm a Decepticon," and like neither team could tell because he had a different face. He had the same body but different face. I can't remember if the plot was like, "Oh, that's my brother over there," and I don't remember, but I thought that shit was cool as fuck.
Yeah, what kind of car is Jazz? I thought Jazz was cool.
Jazz?
Is Jazz an original movie creation? No, he's not.
I don't know who he is. I'm looking it up right now. He's not an original movie creation.
He isn't, no. I was reading about fucking Shockwave. That guy is interesting. That's a very interesting villain.
Soundwave?
No, Soundwave. Whenever I read about him, I thought they were talking about Soundwave, but Shockwave is someone else.
Oh yes, this is Shockwave, and then that Soundwave was cool because he would just be a boombox. Well, I think he's different now, but Shockwave is they were both communication specialists.
Yeah. But yeah, man.
Jazz.
Being a Transformer would be cool as hell.
Let me see. In the movies, Jazz is
Decepticon.
Porsche. He's a Porsche in. Oh, so I think originally he was a Porsche 935.
You guys think you got what it takes to be an Autobot?
I feel it really does depend. Like, am I under direct leadership of Optimus Prime? Because I already told you, like, I'm not having no random person yell at me and tell me to do like 10 push-ups or whatever. So like, I don't deal well with that kind of authority. Like, I would want to fight for what's right, but if there's some random just yelling at me, telling me I gotta do shit, I'm like, yo, fuck you. You're not my dad, bro. The fuck is you? But if it's my man Optimus being like, die for the cause, I'd be like, I mean, which way is it? That way?
You're not gonna be a G.I. Joe then. You're not gonna be a G.I.
Absolutely not. I'm GI no for me, bro.
Oh my god. Yeah, I can't really see myself being a Decepticon. I mean, the more human elements because they're just a bunch of fucking conquerors. Like, I can't see myself being a bloodthirsty conqueror like that. Like, just walking around blowing people up and wanting to destroy planets for no reason. Like, that's just, I can't visualize myself like that. So the only other opportunity would be, okay, I guess I have to be an Autobot. Like you said, now it becomes a thing is like, how passionate would I feel about the cause of stopping the Decepticons? Because Optimus, his main goal isn't really to remake Cybertron like Megatron was. He kind of just like he's like the case for acceptance. It's like he accepted what happened. It's like their planet was destroyed and he moved on. Like he still felt sad about it, but it's like, what are you gonna do, right? It's like,
what are you gonna do?
Yeah, so he was just trying to stop Megatron from making things worse. He's like, Megatron, we already lost our planet. We don't have to destroy the lives of other people now just because we lost what was dear to us. Very inspirational stuff there. Interesting. It's interesting the things you can find in kids' cartoons if you just pay attention. That there are interesting like lessons there.
Transformers was on a cartoon.
What was that?
A toy commercial.
What?
Transformers. It wasn't a cartoon. It was a toy commercial.
Yeah, but the cartoon is where you get that like deeper story and like them going back and forth. And Optimus trying to tell Megatron literally what I said, like you can't just go onto people's planets and
and just can't walk up into people's house them and just take what they have. Bro.
Yeah, you can't do that, bro. It's not right. It's not right. Man. And I was just like, why not? He's like,
Megatron's just like, what am I supposed to do? Let them have it? Let them live their life? Let them be peaceful? Megatron really looked at Optimus and said, look, man, I don't give a fuck about you. I don't give a fuck about them. I don't give a fuck about me.
I don't give a fuck about you. I don't give a fuck about this planet. I don't give a fuck about this solar system. I don't give a fuck about me. So what made you think I'm going to let these people live?
Bro, it was really true because Megatron died. And then he came back and was like, I'm going to do it again.
That man Megatron don't be resting, bro. He don't rest.
Megatron is crazy. But
working overtime.
Megatron is what happens when you chase success. You end up working for a bigger. You end up working for the bigger evil, TBH.
Oh yeah, fucking yeah. You got your own Unicron. Fucking he upgrades your ass, and you think you're living swell. Like, yeah, I did it, and then you realize I'm nothing but a subordinate.
You're just Starscream now.
Yeah, I'm a Starscream. That's really he then became Starscream because he had to be scheming against him. He literally just became Starscream.
Figuring out how to overthrow that nigga.
He became Starscream.
You either die the villain or live long enough to become Starscream.
Yeah, to become Starscream. Or you live your own way and become a Sigma.
But shout out to Galvatron.
What did you say?
Sigma Supreme, he said.
Sigma Supreme. Yeah, Emilio is still the Sigma Supreme. He holds that title. I don't think I've ever met anybody as utterly concerned. When I say utterly, I mean like devoid of everything else, with their own way and their own way of life than him. Like, you can call him stubborn, sure.
He'll agree with you.
Yeah, but it's like it's interesting. It's interesting because I don't, like I wouldn't recommend his way of living for everyone because I feel like he's put a decent amount of thought into the way he lives, and that's why it serves him well.
You try living
Other
like that,
people,
man, you're going insane.
yeah, other people, you might just be a retard. So if you try to be stubborn, you might just it might just be that you're retarded. You might not be able to be as successful as ref
You gotta be
is.
real smart to be real, though.
Yeah, it's true though. It's true. You kind of have to become smart enough to realize that you're overthinking and then go back to making things simple again. That's what I've noticed in life. It's like a cycle, you know, like Dunning Kruger.
Mhm.
Like people who are very intelligent start to realize I'm actually kind of dumb. Yeah, they're like, oh, I'm actually pretty stupid. It's like there's so much information that I don't know. It's like, oh, should I spend the rest of my life chasing after trying to learn all this information? Nah. Like, I'm just gonna accept that I'm kind of dumb and move on with my life. It's like what you were saying, EJ. Like, it's like you just think it's not worth it to constantly challenge your worldview. Like when people are really smart, they're like, there's just some information that like it's not worth it trying to understand it because it's not gonna have any meaning or usefulness to me now. So I'm gonna just make use of the things I do know and learn new things when I can, but cost.
That's the key phrase. Learn new things when I can.
Yeah, yeah.
Try to do that.
Exactly. But you're not going to sit down and go take a physics course for no fucking reason and sit there for 6 weeks trying to learn physics. If it's not your,
You just inundate yourself with all this information with no actual. It's not serving you any relevance at the moment. But you're like, damn.
like if you have a frame of reference already, sure, whatever. You're like, well, I want to learn a little bit more about this thing that I'm kind of interested in that I already know a little bit about. Sure, go for it. But like for example, Ray, like you're not just gonna jump up and go go start trying to read up on Spartan military training for no reason, It's just, it's
For
not something.
absolutely no reason, you're right.
Yeah,
If I was thinking about writing a story and it had that in there, I might look into it.
exactly. Yeah, but you're not gonna be sitting there with fucking going to the library borrowing this books on Spartan military strategy. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
a little weird.
Yeah.
But with
Well,
that
anyway,
said,
yeah. Any final thoughts?
um, remember to clean your nose.
Yeah, that's true. A lot of things we hide in the nose, man. A lot of things. What about you, EJ? Any final thoughts? Why'd you start laughing
he said he
immediately?
said he said clean your nose, and it made me want to say something along those lines, but it well, when I said it in the past, I got ridiculed for it. So
Oh,
I'm not gonna say.
say it. I know he's gonna say it. Say it.
Yo, nah. You might as well. You might as well. We already know what you're gonna say.
Watch your rear end, man. Watch your.
Just watch your ass. Watch your ass. And that
Oh
was so
man.
funny because we were sitting there talking for about 30, 40 minutes about whether or not someone should say wash your ass. That was very interesting. Fucking a whole ass conversation. Like, is that sentence necessary? But okay, I guess I'll try and say something along the lines of what Ray said. Um, stay in shape, man. Stay in shape. That's take from that what you will. Stay in shape. Yeah. Or should I have said touch grass?
Grab
GGS
grass, sample soil, absorb apples.
absorb apples.
Absorb apples is crazy.
GGSS. I mean, hey, an apple a day keeps the doctor away, right? So absorb some apples, man. Grab some grass so you can get that nice grounding, you know, sample some soil. You got to keep yourself, great way to stay in shape, got to keep yourself worldly, because we
Yeah.
get too caught up in this bullshit and this matrix stuff. You start to lose yourself, start to lose your fucking mind, to be honest.
Less hot pockets, right? Less hot.
Definitely less hot pockets, less
Depends on
fucking
who's
slice.
making them.
Yeah. 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 Great way to stay in shape.